Incoming transmission. Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
Hello, sirs and madams. We came to the bridge and no one else was here. There were tachyon traces. He left a jacket. There was evidence that maybe a godlike or a vampire-like being had been here and taken advantage of our crew. So we couldn't get the usual guys. So here as a replacement, Crewman B. Let's bring him aboard. Krimlon, it's Krimlon, everybody. Krimlon, welcome aboard.
How dare you, sir?
Welcome
Compare
to the
me
big
to
show.
a red shirt. That is horrible.
You, sir, would at least be a gold shirt, but I have a funny feeling that on our ship, you would be wearing like a pink tank top.
Well,
You'd be like walking
it
down
would
the
be,
hallway with pride.
it'd be the
weather,
full-on
really showing it
bikini and
off.
the thong coming out the back end of my pants. I'd be the Borat of the ship.
Guys, I just rewatched the season 3 episode of the original series called The Tholian Web, and I got to tell you, I was more than just a little bit surprised by how it hit me compared to as I did as a kid, and how it hit me since I've been doing, reviewing, and watching a lot of Star Trek. There was some surprising stuff in there that wasn't very Tholian or very web-like, and a little bit just like it was all Star Trek like, but like you could see that the Gene Roddenberry final script polish, or Gene Roddenberry's neglect to polish the script one more time and someone else grabbing it, whatever it was that week, because we heard different stories for every episode. It was a little chaotic, but like we got such a genius show. In season 3, he's trying to make that weird show with Terry Garr, and maybe he's just trying to get with her because that would be a smart move. I mean, at that time, like, go for Terry Garr. But like he's trying to make that other show, and Gene's not really running Star Trek. There are other people sort of doing most of the legwork. He's like working hard to try to get this new show off the ground, but he's looking at the scripts a little bit, not to the extent he had been in the past. I think that this one more revision, it could have been great. This is a good episode. We just, if he was here right now, JT would grab the paper towel roll in his hand and hold it over his head like Scarlett O'Hara and say, I'll never indulge another ticking clock again. Because we have like 2 of them in this episode. And it was a little surprising because I'm going to say something that might fall into the outlier here. There's a couple of episodes of Enterprise that are this good. Maybe a little better. Not going to lie. This is not a top tier episode of Enterprise. This is not a bottom 10 or maybe a bottom 10. The ceiling is still pretty high. You know, it's like the base. Yeah, it's the basement of the house from like Lethal Weapon 2. You know, it's like a diplomatic immunity. It's like that house's basement. It's like that house's basement is still like 200 feet in the air. It's the original series. They're doing things that no one ever did before. This one, a little more time with Gene, a little more development, a little more MSG, whatever it took to get this right. I thought that the episode was fun and good. It had those Star Trek episodes. They weren't working as hard to be smart as they had been in the past. And I noticed that we had some like maybe just, how do I put it? There's sort of a pushing of the second hand of the ticking clock there. Their ticking clock is ticking maybe even a little faster than it should be. What did you guys think overall, first impressions, as we get ready to dive into the Tholian web?
You want to go, Kremlin?
Oh no, sir, you're a higher rank. You need to go first.
Grimlon, while Sean's speaking, go to your quarters and bring your prejudice to the bridge.
That's automatically equipped. I got all kinds of prejudice going on here.
All right, calm down, Grimlon. Go ahead, Sean. You go first.
No, this is a classic. It's so good. We had a new and interesting species. We get an interesting problem. We get a nice ticking clock. We get some really cool science fiction stuff thrown in there. It's a great episode. What can you say? I mean, it's a classic, absolute classic.
It's a little bit shocking how it could have been slightly better, but it is a really good episode. I think one of the things we'll get to enjoy is we'll be watching the special edition, which has been synced up to Enterprise. The Enterprise team was kept on, the special effects team, to do the special edition special effects for the original series. So a lot of it will line up. And I heard the guy on another podcast, and of course, I won't mention the name because they're not us, so it wasn't as good of a show as ours. But I listened to their show, so now I know everything they knew. Listen, the guy was saying that the one mistake to look for in the special edition is the impulse engines aren't on a lot because they didn't have the money to go back and do it. They got the most important stuff done first. Like they had a hierarchy of like important stuff, and like if the impulse engines aren't always on, like when the sound effect is going, like we'll live with it. We'll live with it because like things like firing every photon torpedo we have to fire is a little more important. And we won't do any exteriors. We'll enhance the color. We'll make them look more like they did on TV at the time. And those, aside from the Horta, I think the interiors were a home run, and the exteriors rather were a home run. Very different, but a home run. And the inside, there was just enhanced preservation. They didn't change much at all, including the way the phaser would splash against the rock when they would heat it up. What did you guys think of the special editions versus the way we saw it growing up, sirs?
I like the special editions way more now. And I know a lot of people are purists, but the way I look at it, and I think I've said this before, I think that they did with a computer what the special effects team at the time would have done had they had a better budget. Like we didn't get anything too fancy. It still has that feel. So I like it. I like the different look because I see it and it feels like, oh, I'm seeing something a little bit different. It's something
All
that
they would have done.
Mm-hmm.
All sound effects preserved, except for the captain's initial reading of the of Space, the Final Frontier, which has been destroyed by Paramount out of pettiness, jealousy, and stupidity. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that they would do that to a great man like William Shatner. And diminish everyone's enjoyment. Are they trying to make people not like Star Trek? If I could come close to restoring it and come as close as I did, and mine is decent, but he's a little fast. Like even I could possibly slow down his voice. Like you can't tell me Paramount doesn't have an engineer who could even hold their finger on the tape manually to slow it down enough to get that going. But you know what? It's good to see everybody. We got the Teag cam on. We got the Sean cam on. The Kremlin cam can't go on because he's in an Iranian nuclear facility where he's Einstein. That's why he turned off the location on his camera. We're going to try to turn it on the docks and to have a heat missile go in there. But you know what? Kremlin, I heard he's moving to the power plant where he'll be fine.
I changed my look, so it should better fit this episode.
You know what, Grimwell, we're glad to have you with us. We have Germ out for the week. It's Kurtzman-esque, but we wish him luck. We love Germ. He's a buddy. He, I want to say just on a personal note before we get going, Germ was here and believing in me when nobody, and I mean nobody, believed in Admiral Teag and was trying to come after me, and it was just a dog pile, and he didn't give a shit. he didn't give a shit. He just kept coming on my show and enjoying it. He found like a level of comfort where I if he didn't enjoy streaming with me, why is he coming back? Right? I mean, the pay sucks. He's here week after week, making my weekday show a better, more memorable show. And I can't wait to see him next week and talk to him again. If you're out there, buddy, we love you. And you know what? Let's just take a moment to quickly say hello to all the great people. But first, I think there's something on the long range sensors.
Admiral Teag. Incoming super chat.
Who doesn't like coming on your show? I mean, I do it at least 2-3 times a day if I could.
Being on my show will here's the thing. Watching or being on my show will make all men erect and all women begin ovulating immediately, no matter what their age. You know what? We've had 80 octogenarian pregnancies here from the show and all sorts of other great things. And you know what? The thing that
How dare you? How dare you?
Whoa.
Maybe turn off the loop. There we go.
Oh, you got a loop on.
Yeah.
Is that what we call it?
You know what? Here's the thing. StreamYard is so dumb. The default of the soundboard is a loop. It's that dumb.
I was actually thinking, I was trying to play the Greta Thunberg one, but that's on my voice mod. I pressed the wrong thing.
It's close enough.
Yeah. There.
How dare you?
Yeah, there it was.
You know what? It's what a precipitous fall of anybody throughout, like, the world, really. Greta Thunberg just going from like an interesting kid who like kind of had a preoccupation on saving the planet. It was a little bit crusading, a little bit enjoying, and it's like now it's just like it's like Anton Caridian is Greta Thunberg. It's like like what happened? It's like we thought she was going to go the Lenore path, but like first of all, things just did not work out the way it worked out for Lenore. But like also, it's like kooky, crazy stuff. It's like it's the OCD part of what made her special in the first place is now making her less than special. It's too bad. But
can we call Greta Thunberg? Was it Duchess Farquaad? I mean, her latest haircut kind of looks like it.
She does look like Duchess Farquaad, but let's read the super chat from Crimlon. Crimlon, I'm sorry, from Radioactive. I believe Crimlon, you should have to read this. Go ahead.
Oh, a new feature on Teag Network, Crimlon Cam. Oh, was that too aggressive? I may have.
That's only on OnlyFans, sirs and madams. You have to go there to see that.
Only Teags. Only Teags. You got your own brand there.
It's good to see everybody out there, and I want to thank everyone for coming by the show. Let's see who's here. So far, as just within my view, I see late for doctor, wait for BDR. I don't know. Help me with that one. Give me the phonetics on that, Big E. Hello, Lemon Citrus Pie, John the Beagle Dad, Dave C. Sean, of course, Gavin Blackburn, Crimlon, the dead man is also here, and Radioactive. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. Latifa, all right, that works for me. I like it. It's fun. All right, Latifa, welcome. Latefa. Is it Latifa or Latefa?
I know a Latifa. We nicknamed her Lettuce.
You know what?
Lettuce?
There's a whole story behind that.
My least favorite science fiction show is this show called The Equalizer. Have you seen this show? It stars a 65-year-old black woman roundhouse kicking and knocking down like grown-ass men and like teenagers.
She kicks down doors with like by kicking the bottom of the door. And she can't get her foot. She can't get her foot off the ground.
At 57 or something like that, like maybe you could have convinced me that she was like big and healthy like William Shatner is, but like she's so much bigger than William Shatner ever got. And it's just like, you're waiting for like them to say something like, it's like, Latifah's not happy in her trailer. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, she's eating the concrete lining at the bottom of the trailer again. You're thinking she could get to the sea.
I thought you were going to say she didn't like the horse that was next to her.
No, I was
a different kind of trailer.
I was making an even meaner joke about like how about the orcas tried to chew through the cement bottom of the pool to get to the sea in Blackfish.
I
I
don't
just
think
I
saw
just
that.
Blackfish is a documentary about how they accidentally and sort of purposely mistreated on and off, like through like lack of money and like bad corporate decision making, like way up top. What used to be Busch Gardens, it became like some other thing, but they had those two whales. Remember Shamu and the other whale and all that bullshit, and they had like an orca, and they were like they trained this like huge animal to like let a woman ride around on it and like to take like fish out of people's hands. And this was something you'd see commonly when I was a kid, like this was like your dolphin like freak shows. Like people might not understand like the total like carnival freak show was not gone when I was a kid. So like we saw like the Busch Gardens thing with like the orcas like swimming around for like a few fish, and like now we know that like every orca is like 4 times smarter than Stephen Hawking. And
Well, if you walk around your neck of the woods, you can still see plenty of orcas, and there's lots of freak shows going on.
the thing is that they found out whatever it was like leaving it in like a cell without even a Rubik's cube all day, and like they're used to living this like pastoral sea existence, and so like the show was just about how they kept trying to convince the people that maybe it wasn't the greatest idea to like grab the orcas and make like a carnival circuit out of it. But there was like an orca hunting circuit up north, and like they would round up the whales by like throwing dynamite at them to get them to go into a strait and grab them with a net, like all sorts of great stuff. So we have a similar trapping thing going on in this where we don't know most of the plot, and I'm interested. I don't know if Sean had to step away or just turn off his camera, but
I'm here. I'm just changing my avatar.
No problem. Good idea. Avatar fluctuation is good. You know what? Here's what I'm thinking. In this one, we had sort of a Star Trek 4 where we had an analogy for the whales, but we don't know most of the plot that's going on. Like the Defiant is actually being kidnapped back in time by Mirror Archer. The story hit me just a little different watching it that way this time. Could you imagine if Mirror Archer got his hand on Prime Kirk?
Oh,
first of all, Prime Kirk takes over the ship and kills Mirror Archer within a couple of days, but still, and he's doing Hoshi and T'Pol.
Well, Prime Kirk would convince T'Pol he would help T'Pol and take over.
He would probably be most likely to try to seek help from T'Pol because, what's this? If it's a second trip back, we could assume he would know a lot of stuff. But guys, here's what's going on. In order to be a little more, and hello, Lombardi, it's good to see you. Guys, here's what's going on. In order to be a little less predictable and in order to have a little more of an enjoyable Final Frontier adventure, what your buddy the Admiral has decided to do here is we're going to go on a little mirror universe arc where we're going to keep ourselves in the Enterprise business a little longer, because I think it would be fantastic to still be doing Enterprise as that came to culmination. A couple of irons in the fire, not to mention that there's like pending announcements being like teased by everyone from Tachyon to more reliable people. I believe even Doomcock said that there's something happening that he might
he didn't name it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
DC didn't name it. He said there is a project under works. So
it could be the movie.
I think he said a series.
They're making a movie.
I think he mentioned specifically a television series. I'd have to go back and double
if anybody could keep a secret from you and I that it was actually United, it's Doomcock. But you know what? We'll find out. And it would be great to have more Star Trek to talk about. So I see this as a win-win. We're all always going to be okay because Star Trek is forever. But we're
going to get something. We're definitely going to get something.
We're not guaranteeing the quality. Like we can't. Like it would be crazy for us to say we know it's going to be good. We're going to say all signs point to yes when we shake up the magic 8-ball of Star Trek. It's like we have a proven writer. He's written a lot of Star Trek that we think is really good. There is some objectionable stuff to it that people don't like, and like here's the deal. Like, there are some people who do not like the theme song and who do not like the prequel, and they're never going to like the show, and they're going to hate every episode.
They'll take it over what they've had, though, and at least wrap up that story. And they can fix Trip dying.
Here's the thing. They can fix Trip dying. What I'm saying is there's still going to be a small core of fans, and Kurtzman will amplify them, who will say that this was the first new Trek show anyway. And, but you know what would have happened? I know people who reviewed Star Trek in our world who I was afraid when they got to Enterprise we're going to call it New Trek.
Oh,
because there were a couple of people that I thought were going to call it New Trek. I had a strong suspicion that a couple of people were teasing that they're going to call it New Trek, and I just gave you a little name I'll give you a little hint. Or actually, a specific name, I guess, isn't a little hint, but that's what what do you think on that one? 50-50, right?
I don't know how they would know.
You're calling the middle of Voyager the beginning of the filth, you're definitely going to think every minute of Enterprise is the filth. The cat's out of the bag. Now, we kind of wondered if R.M. Briggs would think that this would be New Trek. We just did. It's a valid thought. It would be great if she opined on it. People care what she thinks.
Some people legitimately could say that they're the seeds of it, or things that spawn the ideas that we see in New Trek. But I don't think there's a
lot less of them than in
real connection.
There's a lot less of the seeds than there are in like better Star Trek. They cherry picked the better Star Trek first to go for the things that they could like make the most memberberry out of, and that did a lot of damage. And then when they went smaller, it was less damaging, but like just as boring. But like, like bringing in people from like the short bus Star Trek show Voyager, and the other things like that.
Hey, I like Voyager.
I like Voyager too, but you know what? It's not as highly regarded as any of the other shows, and I think even Enterprise is better. So, I mean, would anyone tell me that Voyager is better than Enterprise? It has admirable traits.
It's different. It's different.
When you have a character like Wesley Crusher through the first couple seasons, don't tell me that that's better than Voyager.
There are episodes that don't have Wesley that I like, and I got to tell you, a lot of people give this episode hate, but like I enjoy even Skin of Evil. I thought like for a good throwaway
Skin of Evil's good sci-fi.
Guy, piece of crap. Yeah, for the piece of crap that he is, there's a whole like half season of Battlestar Galactica built around an almost identical creature. They do it in one episode and they do it better. He's like creepy as fuck. He's made out of like baby food and like toner ink, and they drag Riker inside of it. And like they make him like he's like spitting out Metamucil and toner fluid and baby food. It's like, I hate you. Like poor Jonathan Frakes, trying to deal with that. But it's easy to forget now that we once had great Star Trek from dedicated actors who did a good job. I don't like what he's done with New Trek, and I don't like what he did with Enterprise, but he was the best Will Riker ever, and he was a decent television director for Star Trek TNG. I hate what he's done pretty much universally across the board. His movies are lackluster. He hasn't proven himself in other television that I'm aware of. And you know what? Aside from a great show like The Unexplained, like what do we really owe him?
Yeah.
So
we got to get a video clip montage of him saying, "Guess again." Not correct.
Not this time.
From that show. Yeah, not this time.
We need new directors.
we made it up.
Will Wheaton needs to direct next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
False.
False. Yeah, but I'll say this though, Voyager, if you look at Voyager and compared to Enterprise as far as science fiction, it was way superior. Enterprise didn't give us very much science fiction except for a few episodes, but it was very arc story driven and not individual episodic. So, and when you don't go episodic, you have a hard time of doing good science fiction. The longer a story is, or the longer an episode or a movie is, the less chance you have of having good science fiction, because good science fiction can wrap up in an hour.
I have to agree with you on the Beagle Dad.
Never science fiction.
I have to agree with you on the Beagle Dad. With every TV series doesn't need to be an exact mirror of each other and have to copy it, but needs to at least stay kind of within the realm of Star Trek, which obviously the new stuff is not anywhere near the same.
The idea of having the mirror was so that you could have your actors let off steam, act wacky and crazy, do fun things, and have a comic. It was supposed to be satirical and comic episode. The first one's pretty serious, but I mean, after that, the next time we go back, because we don't do it in TNG at all, we don't even touch it. But we do it in DS9, and we do it so much that it makes up for not doing it in Voyager. Like Voyager stays away from it. It's so badly done the second time around in Deep Space Nine. It was like they didn't do it good the first time, and they went back to hit it again and did it even worse.
I do. What did you guys think of what Star Trek Continues did with it? I really enjoyed that because we got to see what happened.
I'm holding off on watching Star Trek Continues because it remains real Star Trek I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I need that to hold on to when I watch a new Trek or something like that, knowing that one day when Star Trek goes to become Star Trek United and we have new movies, I will hang up my Adidas track jacket on the wall.
You know what? Maybe we can watch it because there is a Mirror Universe episode of Star Trek Continues, which we could throw into this if you want, because it's really cool because it picks up the story on the Mirror Universe Enterprise when the bad Kirk returns. And so we get to see what Spock was trying to do. Remember, he says, find a reason to save the Kelvins and make it stick. Well, we get to see that. It's really
that
good.
is an interesting story to pick up on because Mirror Spock is up for the job. And the idea is that the Mirror Universe starts arcing towards justice after that because Kirk introduces, it's a lot like what they do with Hugh and the Borg Collective. He's like, what if I introduced the idea to you of not being a dick? And he's like, can I keep the goatee? He's like, yes, I'm going to tell Prime Spock to get the goatee too. But that's not the point. Can you not be a dick? He's like, I will experiment with not being a dick. And, it seems to plant the seed of freedom in that universe. That's what we're supposed to believe. And we don't go forward to check on it, except in Deep Space Nine, where things are just as fucked up and it doesn't make any sense. Like that there would be that bad. Kirk's experiment had absolutely it bore no fruit. Like that Captain Kirk could fail like that. That doesn't work for me. I don't like that.
Did Voyager actually do a mirror universe?
No.
I can't remember.
It
I don't
came
think
very
it did.
close. Theirs is called Living Witness. It has the Doctor heavily featured.
It was like maybe a different dimension or a different alternate. It was just a story. It was just a good story. I didn't get it had no impact on anything outside of that episode.
It didn't have
that was a good one.
It didn't have any impact on anything outside their episode, but it was the Voyager way of doing Mirror Universe without being directly it, without copying it outright, giving it an original twist.
Because, we thought Voyager was a really bad and evil crew, and it was just, no, they had the wrong history. So it wasn't, the bad Janeway.
Were they really all that wrong?
Wasn't,
yeah. You sure about that?
Yeah, but the bad Janeway we see in Living Witness wasn't really what happened. I mean, the doctor's like, that's not what happened. They weren't.
It was the bad guy from Picard 3, the cigarette smoking Amanda Plummer character. She was totally Yahtzee. She was like Stormfront from The Boys, which did not end well this week. People were saying, and hello, Hembry Jeremiah 645.
Hey.
Talk about the possibility of Star Trek United gets made. I would really love that.
Well, we're hoping.
Odds seem to be going up, and there will be Star Trek announcements. Here's the thing. Tachyon Pulse is a great guy. We loved hanging out with him. We didn't do the interview that we had wanted to do with him. We did an interview about a news development, and we got his take on it. What we wanted to do with him was question him about his methods. John Del Raz ended up doing that. I don't know if either of them came out of that looking great or doing the greatest job. It looks like what it looks like. I think Tachyon Pulse tinkered around with a couple of other channels, which he's managed to sell off first. He figured out how to build a big, fairly viral channel, and he could sit in front of a camera deduce from his Star Trek cruises and the Communist Manifesto and from other things like that. Sean, am I right? Some of those Tachyon Pulse tweets, and from like his wish fulfillment desire. And by the way, I understand his record with Stargate is very high accuracy. But with Star Trek, you can tell sometimes he's just making content. Some of the things he says, like the idea that you would pass, you would use Star Trek Legacy as the bridge to pass Star Trek from Kurtzman to Sussman. That's insane. I don't think they've ever worked together. There's no history of cooperation except for being thrown out of the office because you used to be old Star Trek. I don't think there's any love lost. We can talk about a pattern of liking tweets that I'll leave out that makes me feel that there is no love lost fucking at all. Okay. And a degree of trust that I appreciate, but I don't think that they hate each other, but it's just like,
who's Sussman and Kurtzman?
Yeah. I don't think they hate each other, but I think you don't walk out of someone's office where they're like, the problem is there were people like you and we can't have you around anymore. So you need to leave. And I would appreciate it if you took your shoes off so that the stench of the soles of your shoes didn't destroy the carpet on the way out, because we paid a guy for feng shui and I need to burn sage after you
that's
leave.
why Ake always took off her shoes.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it was like a weird Kurtzman thing. No, honestly, I think like imagine being a real serious Hollywood writer who's written a lot of good Star Trek and a Star Trek show that didn't really get the fate it deserved. Everyone understood that it was better than its fate. A few people hated the theme song. There was no saving that. There was no changing people's opinion. But the Last Ship, a good show that's ended by COVID. And then this woke thing starts breaking really hard everywhere. And even the Star Trek mantle can't save you anymore, because even though that show was socially aware without being progressive, it wasn't instructional and it wasn't harsh and it wasn't hectoring. So the new Star Trek people held it out as like this terrible mistake that made things worse and bad for everybody. And I think that really hurt everything about what happened going forward for Star Trek. However, if you're Sussman and you're a professional TV writer, I don't think that you would be able to have no ego. I think that he handles his ego well. I think that but he has to be able to be mentally egotistical enough to say, I have the ability to write a Star Trek story. I mean, Sean, genius sometimes works on an assembly line basis. Someone can wake up and say, today I will be brilliant, and write a Star Trek script that is awesome. They did it for years with Star Trek. It's not the M5 computer. He was able to work as a genius on an assembly line basis. Sometimes it wasn't as genius as others, but 70 of 94 episodes, there's not 70 terrible episodes. There's not even 24 terrible episodes. There's like a dozen bad episodes, 4 of which are awful. 1 of which is Horizon. And then some of which are bad and funny, like the way that like Voyager was bad and funny, like Detained was bad and funny. Like it just didn't work and it was funny and they ruined their bad guy. But let's talk about, and I've left a link in the private chat for you guys. You guys can take a look along with me while we take a quick look at what's going on with the episode Tholian Web. You can see it. So hop in there and you can enjoy it with me. I don't think we need volume. I'm going to turn mine off. But, I believe that like that's the best move for all of us here. I will leave subtitles on because I believe that probably is also the best move for all of us. Let's just make sure. Yes, they are in fact on. So basically, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to use this with our notes without putting it up on screen. Did you lose me?
I like you froze for a second.
Out. Oh, my camera might freeze a little bit for a moment here and there. I need to see what it looks like when I go and check out the new pixelation. This is a new camera. Mark through the sea convinced me that I should get a better camera. He has a Logitech, and like I liked how his worked. It didn't freeze and have like all sorts of fucking problems. So what I did was I got this one and I turned it down to minimum resolution. It's like 380 pixels, but that's still more than enough to like get a good enough look at me. You know, like it's still me. There's no like pixelation limit. Like in fact, I was talking to Tony. Like he's like, I'm not going on camera. And I'm like, Tony, have you ever thought about like just going like with like 16 pixels? You know, like 64 pixels, like an Atari. Like, you know, it's you, but it only has Atari resolution. One day we're going to turn on Tony's show and he'll be jumping across crocodiles and swinging across vines. Like, he's turned into the Activision Jump Man. Yeah. You know what? As far as that status report, I'm going to check on that. But as we open up the episode, we have Chekhov and Sulu. They're kind of, you know, taking in, you know, the expanse of space and the danger and wonder of space. We're closing in, though, on a dangerous situation. We have a Federation Constitution class starship lost out there. And let's just take a look at the star date really quick so we can have a look at that one. I'm curious myself. See if we can deduce any logic. 5693.2. Yeah, it's season 3. They're not trying too hard to make them make sense. It would have been like 67 point, right? They're 66.2.02.1 or something like that, right? Start at 6602.4. You know, that's like a more toss sounding start date. And by Wrath of Khan, what is it? 82.03, whatever Shatner's birthday is. Are you're muted, Sean?
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Yeah,
I was typing. Trying to get it so I can look at the chat without doing this on the camera. There we go. I'm gonna try pop out chat. That usually slows my damn system down. Anyway.
Yeah, so I have an answer about that leak on the polarity. It was a repair. Mr. Tucker took a look at it, and you know what? The ship should be fine, but there it is. That's the final status report right there. So that I think explains a lot, and it's just the way it is, the way it's going to be. You know what? Life's got to go on. At some point, you have to go and turn off certain things. All right, so the Enterprise is approaching the last position of Defiant. Captain Kirk is circling around the bridge the way he does. I think that he has like, this is the kind of energy that Archer was trying to imitate, but he had a much smaller bridge. It was like claustrophobic and almost like the Nostromo on the bridge of the NX. On the Enterprise, it's not huge, the 1701. But he can really move around, and we've got those awesome Jelly Roll Candy control boards, and we have some really great computer readout screens that they are not as good as the stuff on the regular Enterprise show we're used to watching at all. But I'm going to say they don't embarrass themselves in the least. This looks fine. I think the special effects are great, and I think that the upscaling we see here, and I'm going to let our audience take a quick look at this one. We have a Galaxy class ship off in the distance, and this is what they show us of it. Let me see. I'll share it with you guys now. Check it out. So there it is as we sort of close in on it. It's like it's out there in dead space, and it's all they already know something's weird, and they start remarking on how it's just not, things just aren't right on this ship. And they're not able to get any readings, and like everything is masked. There's some kind of energy field affecting it. There's no sensor contact, you know, no sign of radiation, but the sensors don't indicate it's there, even though they see it. It's another Flying Dutchman in space. We've done this a few times in the original series, and I thought that it was, you know, a good opening segment where we see this different looking Enterprise, and on the new version of it, we see a really like ghostly green Enterprise. I'll see if I can't show it to our audience so that you guys can get a look at it. Check this out. This is the Enterprise that we see. This is how it's seen by our heroes. That's the Defiant. as seen through the Enterprise's uh, main viewer. You can see something's clearly wrong with it. They know something's wrong with it. Watching on TV as a kid, I remember it just being more like shimmering, but it was still green. Like now it still has it's got more mass, but it was like shimmering. And like doing like the water type effects or the dream effect was like kind of happening to it. That's the way I remember it. Might be a Mandela effect, not super important, but that's the way I remember it back in the day. And Kirk's alarmed. The entire bridge crew stands up and takes a look, except of course for Sulu and Chekhov, who need to know their place. Cutting to the impulse engines, closing in range, opening up a hailing frequency back to Starfleet. Very military, very organized. They're very ready to take care of this challenge. The ship looks as weird as could be. And he's like, we'll get to the edge of transporter range. I thought that this showed a lot of great military discipline, Gene Roddenberry's military background. And if anything, it was a logical landing crew, except for the fact you really should leave Spock behind. Scotty's been proven capable over and over, but leaving Spock behind would have been better. Bring Scotty with you. He's the guy you're more likely to need, even though Spock can probably fix the computer just as well. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
We all
Agree.
There we go. All right. We get a look at Mr. O'Neill. We see him in like 2 episodes, if I remember. And they do the effect. And I want everyone to see their pretty cool spacesuits. We have some spacesuits here that they're a little bit space 1999. They don't really go with Star Trek the way you would think they would. They're by no means bad, but they're real different. And again, like we've been on
They're
here
pretty
for a long
cheesy.
time.
They're pretty, but at least they have the communicator on there. They kind of thought of that, and it was kind of cool. The cool thing in Star Trek Continues, they do have a episode where they need to wear them, and it's the same outfits. It was really cool that they exactly the same.
What I thought
cool
was
to see them again.
interesting, and ladies and gentlemen, sirs and madams, here they are. They're very interesting spacesuits. These spacesuits seem more at home in space 1999. So say we all.
They look like
there we go.
they look like walking microphones.
They do look like walking microphones. They actually look like they're about to put on like an awesome like DJ like dance show. And look at Chekhov. He's got like, is he wearing one high heel and one low heel because he's stepping up, or is it like the heel on the transporter looks so much higher because it's black on red and the other one is black on black? Like you can tell he's wearing some fairly high heels. And like they said William Shatner's fairly short. He looked fairly normal height, maybe a little tall in real life, but Chekhov, man, tiny. Why do we keep bringing Chekhov on away missions? Disposable. If he dies, it'll be all right.
What other ones has he been on? He was in The Deadly Years. He's in on this one.
We don't bring him to the Doomsday Machine, but I think that's season 1. He's on a lot of landing parties. He goes to Mud's planet. He's one of the first. He's one of the people who goes down to Mud's planet. He doesn't go to Vendikar. He might not be in that episode. I don't. There's even after he's on the show, there's episodes he's not in at all. It's hard to keep him straight. We're going to figure it out. I think the mirror.
I thought that was Sulu.
There was no keeping Sulu straight.
By the way, I saw today.
I never knew growing up. He was a good actor.
Yeah, he was. Speaking of George Takei, whatever, I was watching The Twilight Zone today, and I'm like, is that George Takei? Yeah, and he was in an episode of The Twilight Zone I'd never seen before.
I remember he was in an episode. I don't remember what it is.
He plays like a guy that goes in and starts having samurai stuff, like World War II type of things.
That's right. Yes. I thought it would be great if the episode was him like sitting around smoking a cigarette, puts it out, and then puts on like a demon suit and climbs onto the wing of a plane. It's like, well, back to work. Time to punch the old clock, considering that he has that hate on for Shatner that we just can't get him to let go of. But there's our space suits. We'll give you like a little, let Kirk turn around to get a full look at it. At least it looks like it makes sense. At least we know it does.
They put some thought into it. The communicators attached to there, they press it on their chest, which, they didn't carry a little flip communicator. That was cool.
It's taken into account that they're not going to be able to be recognized, so it has high visibility face shields with plaques on the helmets, which are weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the plaques are just the helmet's real personalized to you or just for, ID like any military. It's hard to say, right? It's like a baseball team, your number's on the helmet. But in that situation, you get hurt if you wear the wrong helmet. You kind of want to wear the right helmet. And like with what some players put in their hair, you want to wear your own helmet.
Admiral Teag, incoming super chat.
Guys, it's Welshie, RRTNZ, breaking news. What is best in life? Crush all enemies, see them living before you, and hear the lamentations of oh, wait, never mind. Welshie is working on a new joke delivery method now that we've lost Chuck Norris. I think that you should just redirect the jokes towards William Shatner. I think he jokes about, William Shatner doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the world briefly away.
Chuck Norris didn't die. We all did, and he's just chilling.
Chuck Norris is the only survivor of the human race. He killed fast.
Yeah. We're living in an alternate universe here.
He did it to save us. That's tonight's question, by the way, Sean. Thanks for reminding me. Guys, take the poll. Try the veal. Take the poll. Tonight's poll is an interesting one that we know that you will enjoy. Tonight's poll is, simply put, do you believe in alternate dimensions? It's out there. I believe it's out there at least. I tried to put it out there. Did I do it? Let's see. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see how the voting goes. Do you believe there are other dimensions, multiverse, religious afterlife, heaven doesn't count? All right. Let's keep this science fictional. All right. Let's keep this scientific fictional. All right. So yes, there are other dimensions. 80% of our 25 voters believe that. Wow. Everybody's there. No, it's just sci-fi. Like stream, see the results. I wished later that I had split the difference, because I think that, I'm just not sure, especially with everyone else being so sure. But let's thank Welshie for his generous $5 New Zealand super chat. You're the man. Thank you so much for supporting our show. I appreciate it a great deal. And I heart your super chat. Thank you so much. At any rate, a term I have to stop saying, as we proceed with this episode of Star Trek, a fine episode of Star Trek.
Speaking of the I heart thing, sorry to, you see those bumper stickers that says I heart my German Shepherd as the heart symbol.
I've seen the heart replaced with a baseball bat.
I want to see one where it says I club my wife.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've also seen the I
that can be taken in a couple different ways.
I've seen the I baseball bat my German Shepherd. I've seen I baseball bat my kids. It's like I baseball bat my honor student. Obviously all went out of was I jockeying it through the whole time? How much Star Trek did I show?
I didn't see much.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll remove that in a moment. But as you can see,
I want one that says "fuck your stick figure."
It's still shimmering. They make that. As you can see, the ship is shimmering, and it's pretty cool. It's interphasing throughout dimensions. Sean, were you affected by the story slightly differently this time when you saw the ship shimmering and all that stuff, knowing what was happening? Did you accept the explanation from Enterprise, and did you enjoy the story
I totally accept the explanation. It just made sense, but I didn't feel any differently because I've seen this episode so many times. It's just it's just all there.
By the way, we open with a Jim, this man is dead. Right. That's how we go to commercial. Like, Jim, these men killed each other. Yeah, no shit. They're choking each other and like doing every other bad thing. What happened is it's another space madness episode. We've done this and all powerful godlike creatures and vampire creatures, maybe a little too much when we do our monster of the week, but when we've seen what New Trek tries to do with their monster of the week, it's always quite awful, isn't it, sirs and madams? Like the JD Vance, captain of the garbage scow people, was still the most insulting one of all. They blow away like 8 or 9 of these saboteur scavenger people, and like the deal is the saboteur people grab your ship and try to steal your tech. This on paper could have worked out. They blow away like 8 or 9 of them with their phasers, and they start firing back, and they hit someone in the arm, and they're like, ah, and they're like, these barbarians use what's called firearms. It's like, you just burned these people down in the longest, most painful disintegration we've seen on TV. Like, you're all out of your minds. But Herb Wallerstein, who directed this one, did a great job. And what we noticed right away when you watch the opening segment is all the lettering's in light blue. I believe when it was Desilu, it's gold, right? So we have a slightly different color, but the font stays the same. And they're thinking it's a mutiny. And I'm thinking, this is great because Star Trek is a military show about a military organization that primarily scientifically explores. But these guys are a peaceful version of Commodore Perry sailing into Japan. Like, they'll sail out. Commodore Perry wasn't going to leave without a trade agreement, and or he might have done a few things, but you know exactly what I mean. So when we see this starship that's had a mutiny, Bones is shocked. He's the most shocked of all. This really affects Bones. Bones, as we know from the motion picture, and they keep true to the lore in season 3, even though there's some problems. They keep true to the lore, and in season 3, Bones is supposed to be kind of like looking to relieve the captain if he starts to act weird and if he starts to act too crazy. It's his job to start ongoingly observing the captain once these strange situations come in place. So Krimlon, who was a colonel in Space Force. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you that. I'm sorry, Krimlon.
How dare you?
Sir! I'm kidding. He was an admiral in Space Force. Did they have generals or admirals? I don't even fucking know. But at any rate, Krimlon, who was never in Space Force, what did you think of their military discipline on this one and how it held up under pressure? Do you think it helped them, and do you think it was important to them?
They failed abruptly. They failed abruptly. That's all I can say. Everything is like highly technical and secretive. Although I did hear lots of things about Chuck Norris.
They did wrong.
Yeah.
What did you hear about Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck Norris. Lots of things about Chuck Norris. Very secretive.
Okay, so what you're saying is he was deployed just as much as we thought.
Yes. I heard Chuck Norris can set a phaser to kill and stun simultaneously.
Chuck Norris doesn't need a phaser because he can stun you with a smile. He's got the most stunning teeth on the final frontier.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
He also doesn't obey the Prime Directive. The Prime Directive obeys him.
So as the Defiant starts to drift away, it causes a crisis of command on the, not really a crisis of command, but a crisis of decisions. They have to decide, do we let this thing drift away? And, Mr. Scott makes what seems to be a fairly level-headed decision. He's going to stay close enough to it. As it drifts, he'll just he'll pace the ship. He'll stay as close as he needs to. And over on the Defiant, it's a gruesome scene. People were strapped down in medical lab. This thing was getting out of control before it got to everybody. And they didn't even do a good job of covering up Bones' medical lab. They just closed the cabinet. They didn't even rearrange the stuff in it. And largely human crew, which was fine. I didn't mind any of those elements. And, into the engine room, Chekhov sees nothing but terrible things. What did you think as far as, their military bearing and their military ability to sort of be able to handle these things? What kind of training does the real military get in, processing loss and losing comrades, something that you might see like this?
You're pretty much always taught to focus on the mission. But obviously, it depends on each person.
Before a dangerous assignment, have you been known to ask people to pay you back the money they owe you?
Usually you want to ask that prior. You don't want to do it afterwards because you never know if you're going to get that money back.
Right, you want to get the money back before you go. You don't let it, and like it's not a good time to start lending people money right before the mission, right? It's like we're going out tomorrow for a 2-week, exfiltration mission into enemy territory. It's like, hey, Kremlin, mind if can you spot me like $500?
Right?
Then it's like, hey, Kremlin, how about you take point?
Yeah, that's kind of like knowing, what was it? What was it, Armageddon? Going and taking out $500,000 just to go and have fun with
Steve
lady
Buscemi
friends.
did.
Yeah,
he took out the mafia loan. He went to loan sharks.
I'm never going back in anyway. What's the point?
So I don't know if this is a plot hole or whatever, but don't you think that Captain Kirk and Sulu would have been able to figure out that these people killed each other? The captain's got a broken neck. Everyone's choked out in the bridge. People have beaten each other down. There's obvious signs of like a serious struggle and a fight all over the ship. And Bones confirms it. He's like, "Yep, no. I can tell you, Jim. They killed each other, all right." It's like, no shit.
I've heard of dudes breaking their neck before. Usually, it involves pills and other things. It's possible.
Could you imagine if it's like something very Douglas Adams? Like, it's what happened, sir. They went into a frictionless zone in space and everyone slipped, fell, and broke their neck. It was a series of 435 accidents. I don't look forward to writing those letters. He was a good man. He just slipped. So,
I think it's possible.
They found him in a closet, and there was a running loop of Hoshi playing. And their pants were down.
Well, there's a David that I know of that something similar happened, and they found him in a hotel room. It happens. It's possible.
And then this happens, which is actually got a cause and effect reason. This is Bones putting his hand through the back of a patient. He went to go to try to treat him. And what I say is, if they did this now, like, a little feature we like to call the Kurtzmanizer. Oh, God, could you imagine Alex Kurtzman's approach to people dissolving? Oh, everyone would be a big pile of jelly on the floor. It would look like a bunch of ketchup packets hit the wall. That's what everyone would look like. Anyone?
Well, there'd be two dudes making out with each other on the ground, too, but
there would be a guy in a skirt making out with another guy in a skirt. What are you going to do?
They would not be kilts.
No, they would not be kilts. They would be actual little schoolgirl skirts. Bones goes to the medical lab. He gets a few answers. His hands passing through tables, and they're starting to wonder why things are wrong. And he's like, "Jim, this ship's dissolving. I just passed my hand through a man and a table, And he's like, "Get back up here." And I'd just be like, "Beam us all out. You have like a transporter that can beam everyone out of everywhere." So I don't know why Kirk wants people back on the bridge. Get off that ship. It's fucked. It's fucked. You want everyone off that ship, and you're in disputed territory, which Kirk should at least know. And what I love is Mr. O'Neill looks so much like Seth MacFarlane that it looks like he's making his cameo in this show. It's like they rotoscoped him in like Deep Space Nine. But
oh my.
I like how they exaggerated the phasing effect to make it more modern. And I think that this episode really benefited from the upscaling in a way that Devil in the Dark never did. Sean, you want to talk about what they did with the Defiant and the way we visualize it?
Are you talking about the shimmery green thing, or?
And as it starts to fade out, we see different parts of the ship winking on and off, especially the front ends of the saucers starting to pass out of our dimension. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it isn't so far out of the. It doesn't look like something that couldn't have been done in the 60s. Just they didn't have the money for it. I thought it's all great. I really like the reimagining of this stuff. It adds a little
It
bit
looks
more.
like something you would have to
flavor.
go to a movie in the 60s to see. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
It's a top end movie effect from this. That they stayed grounded. They were also told you don't have a whole lot of money to do this, sirs. So that figures into it. The Tholians are going to show up and cause some problems. They beam over most of the people back to the Enterprise. Kirk, the selfless leader that he is, stays behind and volunteers to remain on the Defiant, at which point they're unable to beam him back, which that's not going to help as the Defiant really starts phasing out. And the only good news here is phasing out takes a while. It takes a while to phase out fully, doesn't it?
Usually only takes me a couple of minutes. But...
Yeah, it
there was a
depends
couple
whether or
times back
not I've
in
been
college.
drinking.
There was a couple times back in college. I phased out. Yeah, and it was a very long night.
Yeah,
there were some stories that happened at that one.
I wasn't playing Mario Kart, but there were mushrooms involved when I phased out. So they're almost getting Kirk back, and we have one of the more painful beaming sequences. Do you hear the drunk people screaming outside my window?
No.
Oh, I was
just assumed that was a natural part of life in New York.
Yeah, people just assume that I it's like blood-sucking freaks. I have a basement filled with captives, and they're just screaming in pain. Nothing could be further from the truth, sirs and madams. I absolutely do not have anybody trapped in the basement. I don't have a basement.
They're there by choice.
That's right. There's volunteers down there.
I do hear something else, though.
I still can't believe I still can't believe I met the bagpiper, and to hear what in living hell his life is like, all my life I felt my best when I played the bagpipes, and now my first wife threw me out. My present wife makes me go to the graveyard to practice. I have to go all the way to take the bus to the graveyard to practice.
Is he Irish or Scottish or Irish?
He's Irish. He's Irish. And I'm just like, what's it like when you go to the graveyard to practice? It's like, it's the one place people appreciate bagpipe music. They like it in the graveyard. It's like, I guess it makes sense. The only place the only public venue of bagpipe playing I could think of is at funerals.
It's fun. I told that story to my coworker the other day, the whole thing of that night, and then how it ended up. She just says, that's the most New York story I've ever heard.
Has she been to our fair city? That's it.
I think she knows some people.
But... like spoiled milk in your area. Is this true?
No, but she's like, yeah, he was ready to go out and strangle the guy, and then he ends up kind of becoming buddies with him.
Yeah, no, that part is very New York. Okay, now I understand what you meant.
Yeah,
I was going to say, like the guy playing the bagpipes, it seems like that's the kind of thing. It's like in an old American detective story, we have a guy playing the saxophone on the fire escape, trying to get people to beat him up. In the Irish detective story, he's playing the bagpipes on the fire escape, trying to get people to beat him up. But I just want to say, our Lieutenant Uhura here looks extremely beautiful as everyone is arguing how important it is that they stick around to, recover Captain Kirk, who means a great deal to this crew. They've been through so much with him. Damn, Michelle looks beautiful there, and it's a slightly different look for her. Is that maybe no edited hair pieces and just her natural hair styled? Is it a wig or is it her hair straightened and styled? It could go either way for me.
I don't know.
I know that I could look at her for a lot longer.
I just appreciate that it's not a weave or just a half shaved head like we would get today.
With a tic-tac-toe board, superimposed onto it like we get in today's stupid Trek. So the show looking fantastic and very concerned for the captain. Go ahead.
Is it wrong that I would love to star in an episode of Only Feats with her?
Only Feet with Uhura? No, and even Zoe Saldana might be a good Only Feet person. And of course, we have one of the more memeable moments in Star Trek history here that we'll share with you in a moment. It's Chekhov losing his shit. Everyone knows this moment. It's in the Miley Cyrus meme when everyone goes crazy from Miley Cyrus's music. So Chekhov, ah!
He goes, and die like him? Ah!
Oh, Chekhov. Oh, sir. I like how like Sulu's like, oh,
Sulu's
sir.
enjoying this. This is like an average Tuesday for him.
I usually have to pay a good deal of money to have this kind of physical contact with another man. I'm going to be honest with you. George Takei as Sulu was a great actor because I could never tell that he was gay. I could never tell he was gay. There was no signs. There was nothing obvious about it. He was a good actor.
Next time, be rougher with me.
Oh, when we saw George Takei, we figured out. This is when I figured out George Takei was gay. When I saw him in Miami Vice, and he's like holding Melanie Griffith at like sexual ransom, and like Don Johnson's coming after. He's like, "I will, of course, take the woman from you." And I'm like, something unbelievable about that line. I don't know. Maybe he's not that into Melanie Griffith, but like I wasn't really that into Melanie Griffith either until she really she got like a whole bunch of upgrades and like bought like the stripper body right off the wall. But like Melanie Griffith, she was all right. I liked her, but like you know what I mean? It's like George Takei, like as like this Machiavellian, like sexual, like human trafficker, evil mean guy. And I love doing Miami Vice. I'm going to do it again tomorrow with Northern English Bastard, where we have Bruce Willis as the bad guy. So tune in for that one. But you know what? On the bridge, Chekhov, he's losing his shit. He has to be subdued. They finally get him pinned down. I thought Nichelle was holding a phaser, but it's actually she's got a stylus and a clipboard. She's fourth in command, so it would sort of factor in that with Kirk out of the loop, Spock as captain. You know, Scotty has moved up to XO, and now she is third in command. She's where Scotty should be, which is, I think, one of the reasons why she's out of her chair. But while she's out of her chair, I want to bring something up.
Look
They're
how
blocking her figure.
Head held.
They make sure to block her figure almost the entire time she's standing up and keep it out of frame for all but 1 second. I don't know if this was done by the show creators thinking we really have something here that people want to see, and that's Nichelle. Let's like make them wait for it and look for it. Or do you think the network was like, people are a little upset about how short Nichelle's skirt is. She's looking a little too fucking sexy. She's been named in a couple of divorces, and we don't want it happening anymore. The network got letters. What do you guys think it was? I think she was so damn sexy that they seem to be hiding her on purpose. Why hire her if you're going to hide her? What do you think, guys?
Fits as good as any other explanation I could think of.
What were you saying again? I was too busy trying to see around someone's head.
In news in America in 1968, divorces are way up. It turns out that infidelity is down, but for some reason, Star Trek has been named in 60% of all American divorces this year. I wonder why. I think that I can even remember my mom getting a little annoyed with my dad for looking at Miss Nichols with great enjoyment. She looks beautiful here, and we do everything we can. I had heard that there was the reason she goes from gold dress to red is because they didn't want to make her quite as visible, and that when she stood up, they got letters. There are a couple episodes where she stands up and walks over and talks to Scotty, and they got letters. Like, people were not thrilled with the idea of Lieutenant Uhura being, full figured on camera because she was so gorgeous. So they had to find other ways. And there is a lot of episodes with Uhura where like she's sitting behind a table, or she's like the chair's not turned all the way around. She wouldn't actually. I think today she would have been like, if we see the downgrade we got for Uhura, the casting seems to be against someone this just beautiful. So, appreciation here from the Saving Star Trek crew of Nichelle Nichols, to the point that I stared at even everything in her hands. and she, of course, now is operating in third in command of the crew. And this is when it starts to creep in on me that the great deal of sentimentality and the willingness to risk his life for Kirk, it comes to an end, and it's not well developed or polished enough in the script in this episode to me, because Bones is eager to get out of there. It's like, it's this sector of space that's making everyone crazy. We got to leave now before everyone goes space mad like Sulu and loses the whole ship. And he right away wants to get out of there. And Spock explains, we got like a crapshoot. It's as good as 1 in 6. We could get the captain back. Like maybe even 1 in 4. Like we got a shot at this one. I know where the ship winked out. I know that I've figured in the drift. I've got this one down. I'm sticking around. Fuck what happens. Fuck the consequences. I'm going to get them back. And, I don't care about these distortions in space. I can handle it. I'm in command of the ship right now. I'm going to do it. And I thought that this is out of character because Bones is usually very courageous in defense of Kirk. And I need to turn my camera off for a moment, so anyone else can turn this on. Appreciate it, but if you have to do it. But I am going to hand off the baton to my crew for a moment and ask them, what did you guys think of their military handling the situation, and what did you think of McCoy possibly being written a little bit out of character, panicking and giving up on Jim pretty quick? 25% chance is still a pretty high. You do that for almost any Starfleet officer. It's out of character to leave the captain behind.
You can factor in that the space is making them all act a little differently. So you can explain that one away pretty easy, that he would be out of character for that. But as for sticking around, I'm going to let Kremlin answer that. You're a lot more qualified than I to discuss the military aspects of that decision.
Before we go to Kremlin, I will say we got the same conclusion on that one, was that McCoy is also, he's one of the more emotional people on the crew anyway. So, of course, he's starting to go space crazy, but he's also one of the smarter people, so he's controlling it.
They also, I think this isn't the only episode that's happened before where McCoy acts out of character, and I know they only did it because they wanted the conflict between him and Spock when Kirk wasn't around.
Yes.
They forced that quite a bit.
Not a single bit of this would be military protocol to begin with, because Kirk would never have been there.
He wouldn't have gone on
Spock,
the ship.
At least,
he would never have left
Kirk
the ship
or
to
Spock
begin with.
Would never have been there. You don't think so? Well, in our military, yes. In the German
and that's
military,
one thing about TNG that I'm glad that they changed.
They didn't change it for that long.
You're not going to leave your captain or first and second in command. You're not even going to let him leave the ship.
Not most of the time, no.
Well, I mean, if this was a ship commanded by me, that would be fine because I'd have a big comfy chair just like Commodore Aki. Although I wouldn't be a dick and sit in it like her. I'd sit in it properly, but I'd have a pretty comfortable captain chair, like Captain Tracy on the Excelsior. That was a great captain's chair that he had. He had like the full-on office chair. And also, you didn't like Kirk and Spock much either. Remember when he beamed over? It's like, oh, the great Spock. He had very high contempt for both of them. I enjoyed his disdain for them. And then in the end, he pulls out of it and believes in their humanity in another episode that has a little bit of this in it because we're counting on humanity to keep people from doing the inhumane thing. It's like, I don't know why we flipped it. McCoy is less humane. Spock's like, mathematically, this isn't a bad chance. I mean, I would play cards on this one, Doctor. This is not crazy. But these are not house odds.
Is it me or with this this last horrible captain with the way she was sitting on the chair? Am I the only one that really hopes that in the next show they kind of just have the next captain, doing spread eagle and just kind of taking off every feminist?
Yeah, I want that for sure.
I want him to be like Dr. Cox in Scrubs.
Exactly.
Just a complete fucking asshole.
Exactly. I want him to pound everyone.
That would work in a Star Trek show, especially if you had other likable members of the crew to offset it and slowly arc the captain to more likable. They wanted to do that with Picard, but they hurried up on that one because they're like, oh, God, people really don't like him. And they're like, it's because he's being himself, sir. We need to have him start acting. It's like, Patrick, you're an asshole. Please start developing a character.
They kind of did that in Picard season 3. It was the captain that was on the ship they ended up on that gave command to Riker.
Jellicoe? No.
No. In Picard season 3.
Was, Todd Stashwick played Captain. I'll remember his name in a minute.
But he was a little Cox-like. I enjoyed him a little bit.
He was a sucker, if that's what you mean. I thought that
no, but the way he gave attitude to them, I liked.
And chickened out of every challenge. She was like, whenever they were in trouble, how many times did he say, "It's not my responsibility. Computer, cede command to Picard. Computer, cede command to
that part
Riker."
was no. But when they were in the briefing room, and he was just being an absolute asshole to them. I liked that.
I liked that because I don't like them anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like the actors anymore. So yeah, I did like that he gave them attitude, and I did like that he was just an asshole from Detroit moment. Like, he was a good actor, at least in that moment. It wasn't a good Star Trek moment, but it was a good actor moment.
It wasn't. But
his character has a fundamental flaw. Do you know why I don't think Terry Matalas is as good a choice as Sussman to run Star Trek? Unless this is a mistake that was made by Kurtzman and Matalas had no choice in it. Captain, I forget his name, of the Titan, the captain of the Titan, Captain Shaw of the USS Titan, called Jerry Ryan's character, 7 of 9, he called her Hanson. And he did it to keep her in her place, and because he didn't like her attitude, and he had a Jellicoe kind of thing going towards her, but he had nothing backing it up. He didn't have the swagger, he didn't have the experience, he didn't have the military bearing. He was being a bit of a dick, and there was just nothing to it for the relationship between him and Picard and the other ones. But the thing is, one, he does that long computer sequence to hand over computer control to the to Picard and to Riker. And it's like a 4-step process. It's like, this is Picard robot taking control on behalf of the Federation. You know, it's nonsensical. And the thing is, when they get taken over by their enemies, the Shrike takes over the Titan. She walks on the bridge, sits down in the chair, and takes over the computer and starts answering her right away. No ritual. So what was that lockout for except to cuck Picard and to cuck Riker and to cuck Captain Shaw? And then at the very end, everyone's favorite Star Trek actor, Tim Russ, says, Captain Istophobe, who said all those istophobic things about you being a fucking Borg and how he doesn't like your Borg attitude. He doesn't like you, and he thinks you're unfit for command. And he spent the whole 10 episodes of this show razzing your ass and riding you and telling you you're no good and saying that you needed to be off his ship. He doesn't like you. He doesn't trust you. And he doesn't think that you and your lesbian girlfriend are a good combo for command. And he's fucking right about all of it. You know what? It's like they sped her through Starfleet Academy in only 1 year and made her second in command of that fucking ship. That's an insult to everyone who put in 20 years in Starfleet. I realize that she has 20 years out there in the rim, but she was a goddamn vigilante as a Fenris Ranger. You can't have it both ways. Lieutenant Commander 7 in charge of astrophysics. Yes. Lieutenant Commander 7, even in charge of tactical, if you want to make her a little tougher, she was tough enough times as 7 to do this. But Lieutenant Commander 7, full Commander 7 as first in command of this ship, and Captain Shaw is all istophobic and angry at her. And then at the end of the episode, Tim Russ turns on a hologram, and it's just his head, and his head's floating around like it floats around in Futurama. And no matter where we are from perspective, he's looking straight at us because it's a hologram. And they're doing like Star Wars. They're copying it beat for beat. And he goes, this tweet was sent, this communication was sent before your mission started, giving a start date previous to the beginning of the events in Picard, meaning that everything that happened after he sent the letter. Did you catch that part, Sean and Kremlin?
I didn't pay enough attention to it to remember that far.
I'm still confused on how she's not even, married to Chakotay, because that was basically the entire ending premise of the Voyager
turned
TV
her into a
series.
lesbian by lying about his Native American heritage. She's like, I'm a guardian, baby. I don't know. Like New Trek has a hard on against Robert Beltran. They won't have him on, and they keep making sure that Memory Alpha says that he deceives people when it was really their consultant. He was up front. He's like, I'm freaking Italian and Mexican, which means that I am part Native American guardian, because he has some of that DNA in him. And I don't understand why it was a big deal. Because he wasn't a Plains Indian, because he wasn't 100%.
So people like me that has like 4% Native, Central Native American. I'm not Native American because it's from Mexico.
I'm a guardian, but it's not American guardian. It's Cuban guardian. I have the Cuban Indian guardians. And like, I tested, like, there was like a very low percentage of planes of American Indian coming up though. Like mainland Indians started coming up. So I wonder, with the Dutch DNA, like, could I have been a plague on New York, like all its existence? Could like my ancestors have come up with the Dutch Highlanders, like some measly pox-ridden, like, Dutch guys just like getting with some like Indian chick, and then she just like intermarries with like some other guy. Yeah, like it's like her half Dutch guardian kid intermarries with like, I don't know, some like, British guy who, like, because I've got it all, that's New York for you. It's like the United Federation of Planets. Deadman says the Voyager Tom Paris called Chakotay Indian. Chakotay is an Indian. What happened was halfway through the show or so, they discredited their expert. They made some apologies. Beltran did nothing wrong, and that's when they made the switch from being a Plains-style Indian to a Mesoamerican Indian. Remember that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could have swore his heritage was not like American.
It felt more South American than
He's an American Indian at first, because remember, the first time we see him in an Indian environment, it's on the planet from TNG. The TNG Native American planet is the one he's from. Do we see him on that planet, like in like a Vision Quest early on, right? When he's like, I remember what, because he does a lot of he does some loopy doopy shit in the first couple of seasons when they had a really bad advisor who advised them wrong. Lieutenant Commander of 9. But here's the quick thing on Picard to bring that one to a close. They play a letter from her commander that was sent before the events of the show, where he says, don't be istophobic to her, don't call her Hanson, and she's earned every right to not just be first mate, but captain of a ship. I should step aside so she can be captain. He says that. So why did he go? Like, I want the moment where he was like, Seven, I want you to know I sent a letter saying that you're all right, but I'm going to keep up a strong bigotry towards you just because it's something I like to do to kill time. I'm from Detroit.
You spent how many years in the Delta Quadrant? Did all kinds of stuff, more than what I've done.
Yeah. He was such an incompetent captain to be the captain of, like, the Titan was already their flagship when they renamed it the Enterprise. Like, that's what we need, a secondhand Enterprise. They couldn't even make a new CGI model for it. What a bunch of losers. But if that was Metallis's doing, he forgot important fucking lore. They'd already lesbianized Seven, so I don't blame him for that one. But, yeah.
Well, that's not a first in Trek, though, renaming a ship. They did it with the Enterprise A was actually supposed to be a different Connie ship. And they renamed it.
Was it the second It was the Constitution. It was the Constitution.
The Enterprise A was a Constitution 2 class. But in the end of Star Trek 4, when they go to they see the Enterprise A,
it was a replacement of the original Constitution, which gets destroyed, right?
I don't know about if it's got destroyed, but I'm just saying it
be because only the Enterprise made it back of all the Connies. It's the only one that got refit.
Is it?
That's the lore in the book.
Oh, okay.
The reason why they're famous is Kirk is the only 5-year mission captain to return.
Yeah, but that's not true though, because Robert April had one. He did 5 years. So did Pike.
That's true, but I think the deal was we had the one with Commodore Decker was really particularly a bad one. It was like that 5-year mission didn't work out at all.
No,
And
that
think
one
about
didn't.
it.
The Defiant didn't, but
We could name so many ships from that 5-year mission that were Constitution class that didn't make it. The ship full of Vulcans, the Defiant doesn't make it. Ronald Tracy's ship,
the Intrepid. So the Intrepid was the Vulcan ship.
Right. The Defiant, the Intrepid,
the
Ronald Tracy's ship.
Lies,
The Executor.
information.
Well, we don't know if
Never
Tracy's ship
disappeared.
was lost. It was just in orbit.
I
Well,
think
it
probably
we see them
salvaged
photon
it.
when they leave. No, I think we see them photon torpedo it as they split.
Oh, do they?
I think they
Because it's
trash
full
it
of
when
the
they
virus.
split. It's full of the virus, and like it's like too many people were lost on it. It's a war grave. No one wants to serve on it anymore. They can afford another ship. There's no money anyway, so they get rid of that ship. I think they destroy it as they leave. You know, we have one solemn duty left to perform. I think that happens in that episode. So we lose the Executor. We lose.
Well, in the Ultimate Computer, there's 4 other ships that they don't get destroyed; they're just damaged.
One is destroyed beyond repair, and all crew are lost.
Which one was that?
It was crippled with all hands.
Yeah,
lost
I
and no
was
life
trying to
support.
remember the name of that one.
Sir, I'm sorry,
Was it
sir,
the
but you're gonna have.
Excalibur?
We don't use that terminology on this channel.
What's that?
The word cripple. It's you got
It
to be
was
a little bit.
differently abled. Hello, Ray. It's
Differently
good
abled,
to see you,
yes.
sir. Was Excelsior turned into Enterprise B?
No.
No, it was
Different
its own
ship.
Excelsior style ship that was kit bashed a little. It looks a lot like it. There's a couple of differences.
There are differences that the Enterprise B was a different.
It's a cool ship.
Yeah, it was different, but no. Getting back to what I was saying, that there's been other times where a ship has been recommissioned. Remember in DS9 when they get the second Defiant comes in, they officially renamed it from something else, and the Enterprise A was not built to be the Enterprise A. It was built to be something else, and they renamed it after Kirk saved the planet at the end of 4. A little lore there.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct. I can't get my background music to play, which means I only have limited patent music and no video. So, Sean, yeah, it's my background music. Sean, right now, Spock is sort of in conflict with McCoy. I'm going to jump out and jump back in so I have more control.
Could it be the theater that's being played in the background that's doing that?
It could possibly be that, but if I jump out and jump back in, I'll have control. So I'll be back in a second. Can you do me a favor and just discuss the command crisis between Spock and McCoy, and how this one is not like earlier ones? It's not as well considered, and it's a little too blunt. And we got McCoy. I don't think he'd risk the rest of the ship, but he certainly seems to be panicking early. And I'll be right back on that note.
Yeah, he and Krimon, you could chime in. Again, this is one of those instances where I think they wrote the conflict, because on one hand, McCoy's, Spock just wants to save the captain, and McCoy's like, "Oh, you just wanted command." Well, how is that if he's trying to save Kirk? Right? So, I hear some sounds there.
Again, they're just force writing.
Finally,
because the whole structure of them even being sent over to the other ship with the captain to begin with would have never happened. It probably
well, yeah.
So all of this is a mess to begin with.
Yeah, they did that a lot for the adventure part. They weren't really considering
their Starfleet
normal protocol.
Their Starfleet command structure in season 3 is not as rigid and not as they don't stop and take the care to write the lines that excuse why the captain would go. Usually we have some plausible deniability or a little bit of conversation about why the captain has to be part of this landing party, but Spock and McCoy are continuing to come into deeper conflict. And one of the things that I thought was weird was in XO mode, McCoy is suggesting tactical moves. Tactical ship moves, like, I think we should move further away from the Defiant. And Spock's like, we're not going outside beaming range of our friend.
Well, McCoy had a medical reason to recommend that, though. He's like, hey, this space is messing up with people's brains. So he had a valid reason to chime in.
I hadn't considered that aspect of it, that it was that he wanted out of that area of space. In that case, like if he knows he has 2 hours, like Spock should be taking like a slow elliptical loop. So is he affected too?
It maybe, yeah, but Spock is also not acting logically. Like he would have said, Captain's gone. I've got 400 lives I have to worry about. I'd save the captain if I could, but I'm not going to risk everybody to bring him.
Don't force me to drag you to the
especially
airlock,
during
399, Doctor.
Especially during a potential conflict they're about to have.
Kind of noticeable right there when I saw a little bit of a smirk on Spock's face.
And that conflict is exactly what you're talking about. There is, in fact, a tickler from the country south of Belgium in space. And we're going to get to see it. I don't know why they chose this unfortunate design for the Tholian ship. But there she is. There she is, boys. There she blows. What say y'all? I mean, all right. It's not as bad as it looked at first coming in at the angle. It looked like it was something you would throw on the floor at the NBA game. That's a WNBA game.
It's not green.
It's okay. The Tholians show up, and I think, did they revoice the Tholian, or do they always have the ambiguous sexual voices where it was male and female?
They were pretty ambiguous.
Like, the Tholian seems to be a male and female actor reading the same lines at the same pace at the same time.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
And then they mess with the tape a little and put it through some sort of effect. So the Tholian is in spirit with the Enterprise Tholian. And this episode is very much in keeping with Enterprise. I thought that it was one of the better moments that we had. And we do get to see the Tholian in this episode. I don't think, did we really get to see the Tholian in the original series? We do, but they're just like, it's like a snake, a glowing snake-like figure for like 1 second, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a little cobra or something.
They stayed true to the spirit of it, but I guess with their idea that these are creatures that live in an environment of great heat, like it's sort of like crystallized. Only way to put it. Here it is. This is the Tholian as we see it on the screen at about the midpoint, about the end of our second act of our episode. Here comes our existential threat. They're introducing ourselves to start Act 3. The Tholians can be dealt with. They will talk to you. And the Tholian was weird enough and uncool enough and always had been a dick of enough that I could believe that this Tholian was in on some sort of interdimensional experiment to fuck with people. What did you think of the Tholian as far as just like raw nefarious energy and what we knew before? It's like, it's so ambiguous, it's so insectoid, it's so unisex. This is an alien's alien, especially in this iteration. They improved it. Krimon, what did you think of the Tholian?
I'm just thinking of a way to end it. Just, maybe some ice, some water.
Well, Phlox figures it out. Will you kindly die?
Yeah.
Phlox, kill it with pleasure. Yeah, that was one of John Billingsley's best acting moments in the entire series. Although I will say, across the last scattered few episodes where they used him more, he has been as good as always, especially in the Klingon one. He did great acting in the Klingon one. Yeah, whether or not you want to scoff at that one as unneeded, it wasn't bad.
No, it was. Well, you loved it. You gave it 100, didn't you?
I gave it
all
an
three
A+
of them
because I gave it an A+ based on its intent. There's only 2 in that one, It's just that the next episode flows in because the plot line of the waking dreams in each other's minds with DePaul and Trip runs through that and resolves in the next episode. And they sort of end one and begin the next with that plot line. So they're doing episodic TV with a serialized feel. So they're getting a standalone episode, but if you're watching in order, you get that little extra out of it, where she has the quick conversation with him. Although we did get a pure moment from the two of them and they are the only two people in Star Trek I think we ever bought, like, we're real, truly in love. Like, Dax and Worf, did not sell quite as well as Trip and DePaul. Anybody else?
No.
I think that they're the greatest lovers in Star Trek. The most star-crossed lovers or Star Trek lovers are absolutely the DePaul and Trip. Guys?
I don't know. Data and Tasha, kind of hard to beat.
That was not love. That was between a vibrator and a human female.
If Data, and I agree with that categorization, Krimlon, that's why you're here, for those keen takes. We can't wait to find out what he thinks about the relationship between Scarlet Witch and Vision. Will he rename him Vision Braider? And look at, like, Admiral Teag being a genius, drinking out of the Gatorade bottle with the cap still on it. So that's my genius. I can remember to turn off the camera when I do things like drink.
You brought shame to your family.
Would you classify that as a drinking problem?
Doing that for a long time.
Like an airplane.
Yes, it's my strange drinking problem. It's like my strange being an idiot problem. But guys, we've got the Tholians. Here they are. We've seen them. So now we know who our enemies are, and we know who our friends are. Our friends are trapped on the other ship. We've lost an entire Federation crew. One thing that an earlier season would have had here would be Jim Kirk would be like, I didn't think Bob Leland would be the kind of man to lose command of his crew, or whoever the captain was. Like, in previous seasons, he knows why wouldn't he know another captain? He would know exactly who's in command. He'd be like, I read Jim, he would have read that guy's dossier on the way over there and known everything about the guy. He would have known all his command traits. He would have been like, perhaps his penchant for harsh discipline came back to bite him in the ass, or he was a lax disciplinarian. He was evaluated poorly. Captain Kirk would have had something to say and some knowledge. He would have been like, he rated highly on leadership and motivation. This makes no sense. There would have been a line in there about that. He's just like, this dude's dead. So, like, it's a little bit lower of the quality that we had in the writing before. It's still a damn good story, in my opinion. It's just that those fine touches that made it absolute genius and brilliant, they're gone. They're gone, and there's just nothing we can do about them. McCoy is working on some way to centrifuge a antidote for the space madness, and the space madness takes over my favorite crewman. Tell me this guy doesn't look like he's a down on his luck and could use a nickel for a few sternos to brew up into a good drink.
It's not my thought process the way he was looking at that woman.
That woman is Mrs. Roddenberry, sir, and you will maintain a tone of respect. Yeah, you know what? By the way, I think Mrs. Roddenberry is looking like probably the best she looks in the whole series here, with her own fairly short, real hair, and just kind of like, this is the least hard and unnatural her face ever looks right here. It's just the softest Majel Barrett we got.
Rename Mrs. Robinson to Mrs. Roddenberry, because I like where this is going.
Yeah, here's to you, Mrs. Roddenberry. Star Trek owes a hell of a lot to you. But you know what? This is the way they modeled the Toss, Christine. This is Toss Nurse Chapel's hair and Toss Nurse Chapel's uniform. It's a late uniform. It's real different. It's cool. It's really Star Trek. I love it. It's so Star Trek-y. It could be fitted better. Major's looking pretty good.
The outfit still even fits for this today's style.
Mm-hmm.
Major's looking pretty good for this at this age, though. So I really wish that they had taken the uniform and tailored it even a bit more. And I like the fact that McCoy has his own doctor uniform there with the short sleeve, like dentist shirt. I don't know why Kirk has.
It's a different material too, right?
Yeah, it's kind of different material. It's like his lab coat or something. So in
Yeah,
case
I always
drop
like that.
acid on myself, I'll only burn my forearms, Jim. Like, why is it short sleeved? But okay, I mean, it's fine. What do you mean you were like that? Did I mishear something?
I think so. I didn't.
Okay, yeah, I misheard something. Kremlin.
No, what?
It's Kremlin's fault. That's one of the reasons we brought Kremlin here. We could just blame it all on him too. So guys,
I'm used to that.
With us, we're really making some progress in the Tholian web, but we wanted you to see how good Mrs. Roddenberry looked. And we do love McCoy's. We do love McCoy's sort of dentist-like uniform there. I don't know. It makes sense. It makes sense for working around the lab. And we found out that Dr. McCoy is the kind of guy who will beat the shit out of his lab assistant if he has to. But you know what? He's been on enough away missions. He's one of the toughest doctors in Starfleet, right?
He can fight, yeah.
He can fight. His stunt double can fight pretty well, too. I love how they have like a whole bunch of cleaning fluids there that you just shouldn't drink in the sick bay of the Enterprise. Like, wait, hold on. That's degreaser, Christine. I keep that around to clean off the hypersprays. Don't give that to anybody. Wait, what? You gave it to Chekhov? All right. Well, don't tell anybody.
I keep it around. It's a little trick I learned from Bill Clinton's memoirs.
You mean Bill Cosby? Both.
Or Clinton, you know?
The one and the same. Two sides of the same coin.
No, not Cosby, because Clinton, it gets stains off.
Oh, that's what you meant, Buck. So I was going to say, like, as weird as he was, like the ladies dug BC. It was the other Bill like white BC, like the ladies loved him. Black BC was the one who was like knocking him out and like doing weird stuff. Like both are weird guys, both had proclivities, but like the whole knockout, like grapey thing, that was Black Bill Cosby, who, you know what, like if I just, not to go on a tangent here, but if I ever had like a terrible medical disease, maybe I could commit like some sort of like crime where I drug somebody so that when I'm found innocent, I can be cured too. Because Bill Cosby's been cured of blindness like how many times by being found not guilty on a technicality of something he definitely fucking did. Piece of shit.
Watching this, I might end up going blind with as sharp as some of those aspects are.
Spock and McCoy continue to like kind of back and forth argue, and it becomes almost pedantic. The Tholians give them a reasonable amount of time. They're like, hey, look, someone's trapped on our ship. And they're like, oh, we don't need to send him back to the Mirror Tholians. The Mirror Tholians be so pissed. They hate visitors. This guy's like, we don't need him here. Do
you think the Mirror Tholians, that these Tholians are trying to do something with the other? We never established this, right?
We don't, but it's because it's now wrapped up in Enterprise. We would have to assume that they have some temporal Cold War communications within at least their species.
Well, not necessarily, because if the Defiant disappeared, it would have just appeared in Tholian space in the Mirror Universe. Because they're in Tholian space in this one. So when it moves, you can reasonably assume it's going to appear where the Tholians are in the other universe.
I think like mirror. But it didn't just move to another dimension. It moved back in time. So they over-succeeded. It had like either they over-succeed and they have a space dock ready waiting for it anyway, or it was always a time travel experiment with kidnapping a ship and bringing it back in time. They're like, they had some limited, at least within the loop of the episode, they could communicate within time.
Well,
right?
maybe I don't know if, I mean, it's plausible. I don't know if I buy it, but it would make sense that maybe they had it for 5 years or something. They had enough time to build the base around it. Like, okay, let's research this.
I think Archer gives some time limiting. You know what? That's a question. We should write down some of these questions for when we finally get to the Mirror Universe. And I'm sorry I cleared my sinuses.
I'd like to ask Michael Sussman these questions.
Is it?
I would love to too. I keep like muting my camera when I need to clear my sinus. It's just it's
Is that what we're
pollen
calling
in
it?
New York today. I'll try to do better. Yeah, I wish I had the $20 cold. Those days are long behind. I'm far too old to have a $20 cold anymore.
What's a
Yeah,
$20
the
cold?
$20 cold.
That's called a night of indulging with cocaine.
Oh,
That's like the next day where you're at work, you're like, and your boss is like, I was like, I'm sorry, sir, I'll get that done right now. It's like $20 cold. And it's like, oh, my boss knows I'm not doing cocaine all night. You never heard
You
that
only used
expression
$20
before?
and you didn't do it
No.
right.
What
I've never
movie
heard
is
it.
in? I think isn't it in Godfather, no less? They're like, yeah, $20 cold. He's got a cold. Yeah, the $20 cold.
Never heard it.
The $20 cold is like well, now it's like the $100 cold, right? But the $20 cold is like a night of doing cocaine in the 90s. You like that one?
Yeah.
All right, so the Tholians,
Coke bookers.
the Tholians, like we can consider this deeper as we get further down. Like we'll park that one in the tangent parking lot. Like, do the Tholians know about the mirror Tholians from the past? My guess is that they can, and that these Tholians have to work with those Tholians to jack the equipment. It's going into the past. The future Tholians can lure in the ship. The future Tholians can send back the information to decode the Federation ship. The past Tholians, they're 100 years in the past. They don't have as much tech, but they can receive an incoming transmission and they can receive an incoming ship. And as we found out, the whole temporal Cold War that this would seem to be working around. And I would have to say that this is a temporal Cold War infraction as seen through the eyes of the Enterprise show. What do you guys think?
I hate the temporal Cold War. Let's not talk about that.
I'm not even going there. That was the
Everyone hates
yeah.
the temporal Cold War, but in the eyes of Enterprise, this is what they're doing. They're temporal Cold Warring it out with the people from the from the future. The future and the past are working together to gain an advantage in the what would be the past for the people from the distant future who seem to be controlling this. Wouldn't it be funny if the temporal Cold War was only from like 3 weeks in the future? We bet on baseball games, Archer. That's how we're able to stay in business. We saw this movie from your historical archives. But the Tholians give them like a reasonable amount of time. They're like, look, Spock's like, look, there's interphasic space going on. That's what you're detecting. It's no big deal. We're going to get our captain back. We know how to do it. Just give us like 1 hour, 46 minutes. And they're like, you have exactly that much time. Do not engage in deception. We do not take lightly to it. And we'll fuck with you. So exactly that much time goes by. They can't grab Kirk. The Tholians attack. And Spock doesn't want to break the transporter hold or like recalibrate the instruments to fire. It'll fuck things up too much, but the Tholians are fucking up the ship. Him and Bones have a little bit of an argument, and he returns fire, which like decalibrates everything and may have lost the captain. We don't know. The second interphasic interval like has been established, but not talked about much yet. Sean, you were going to say something, my friend?
I was going to say that it had something to do with the temporal stuff because I was going to ask, is this episode before or after Mirror Mirror?
It would have to be after. This is season 3.
Okay, so
season 3, episode 9.
But we don't know for sure because if Spock is saying we're crossing over to the other universe, because he mentions another universe in this episode.
This Spock would be largely unaware. Well, actually, the Spock would be aware from the first-hand account of the other crew and seeing the mirror people. So he knows there's a mirror universe. Yeah, you know what? That's got to be possibility one if you're the show writer. It's like, one place we definitely don't want to go is that fucked up mirror universe. I'm going to start taking some knife training right now with Sulu. See if I can keep him I'll definitely keep that guy at arm's length. He likes to play with that sword to keep him far away from me. I'll bring a broadsword. So we get a pretty good space battle between the Enterprise and the Tholians. What we find out is the Tholians use their ability to like disrupt what the Enterprise is doing more so than anything else. And we get kind of a cool effect here from our special effects team where the Enterprise fires. It's pretty cool.
Actually, it's really cool looking little
Sustained
ship.
beam. It is, and this is the part that I like. The phasers are like, they're like, Spock's not really trying to fuck them up too bad. Like the phasers are set in a way that are like, I don't know. It's like put him on compassionate burst. I don't know. But the thing is, he can't redirect fire, and also possibly the energy drain from being in that sector of space. But you would figure the crew being all murderous would help them fire and be less regretful. But they flick the Tholians aside. The thing is that their ship is now jerked up out of alignment and a little more damaged than it was before because they were keeping pace barely with damage control, but now they have a whole bunch of new problems because they had to fight a little bit. And the next interphasic period isn't going to be exactly regular. It's kind of 2 hours. That's basically what Spock is thinking. And they don't have power. They're going to start to drift. The other ship is drifting. You would hope they're drifting the same way, but who knows? It's space, right? It's going to do whatever the plot needs it to. Either space is going to drift. We're going to find out that there's a star pulling us, or we're going to be going in different directions for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. Sir, it doesn't matter. No one cares. And at this point, McCoy has his confrontation with Kirk that I just was like, I would just, if I was Spock, I would have been like,
How dare you?
I mean, where does he get off saying this? On the bridge, no less. Like, Spock was measured, though. He's like,
sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
What did you think? Like, just, he's bawling out Spock. He's telling him he wants Kirk's command. He's telling him that he, did the wrong thing. What did you think of the sequence, Krimlon? Oh no. We have WBRBs. Guys, we have McCoy and Kirk. I'm sorry, McCoy and Spock in conflict here. It's pretty badass. They have a fight that is a little more, I don't know, bitchified than your usual Star Trek fight. And Spock is saying here that, there's no time to compare captains. There's no time to be emotional. I know what I'm doing. And he's like, I can't believe you'd make a bid for command of the Enterprise. And he's like, you know what? I am in command of the Enterprise. Go do your job. Okay. And I will be solo for the next 5 minutes. It's going to be awesome. Let's catch up with some of the chats. Oh my gosh. Hey, Dead Man, just in time. Sir, thank you. This is like very...
Admiral Teag.
Maybe I can go on a tangent on this one and preserve the episode for my crew. Says, the updated FX with the phasers and torpedoes are the best update they did. You know what? First of all, isn't this a great Star Trek chart? Do we have the Tholian? We don't have the Tholian. We have the Salt Vampire. Yeah, you know what? The Star Trek people had limited funds for the update. They decided that the exteriors were more important. They absolutely understood that the camp and the fun of the phasers, that there was a fun factor to the phasers. The way they sort of splashed off the rock in that asterisk-like pattern, it was like very regular and very weird, very Forbidden Planet. It hadn't advanced a whole lot since then. It looked better, but it hadn't advanced a whole lot. They were getting better at it every week, and their special effects were fine, but the updated effects of the phasers and torpedoes are better. Just like, like it was a cool sound effect. They did what they could, but like, even on Next Generation, to save money, like we fired the phasers from inside the ship. And even then we had pretty good phaser. Well, I'm sorry. We fired the phasers and especially the photons, from inside the ship. And we got to the point where that photon sound was pretty cool. Like just like the alarm sound of the torpedoes being launched, like full spread. And you just hear like the alarm going off. I thought that was pretty badass. And hey, Daniel's here. I still want to know who the future guy is. We found out that he was probably either a future Romulan or maybe a temporal Cold War agent who may have had something to do with being a distant descendant of Kirk. But like, he had done so many evil fucking things that I think that was definitely out the window by the time. But like, when we get Star Trek United, like, questions will be answered, my friend. And I want to thank the dead man. I really do appreciate it. It's, it's time for the Sir montage. I think it's important.
Sir, we have to send for Albert Einstein. Sir, he's very busy. Sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
All right, guys. So Spock is trying to keep the ship on the rails. He might be able to compromise. He's being brisk with McCoy. McCoy's being more of a dick than usual. Uhura's having her doubts, and people are starting to have, the stress of this area of space come over them. When another Tholian ship shows up, it's rendered really cool. When we do our total Tholian web review, we'll concentrate on it more, but we see their ships. They're awesome. They link together back to back, and they start to do this like weird Tholian web maneuver that we remember from the original series. I'll show it to you for a moment. It's cool as shit. It's a second of the Tholian web. So, great special effects, great remaster. They look fantastic. And the Tholian web, as we can see, builds fairly fast. They make it seem a little more formidable than they were able to do in the other show. And the Tholians are building an energy vampire shield around the Enterprise. This is kind of cool because it's really Phantom Menace and really Revenge of the Sith, where George Lucas likes to show other ways that you would attack. Ways like the buzz droids. Ways like some of the other like sabotage oriented weapons that are used in the opening engagement of Revenge of the Sith. Sound effect worked well. Yeah, no, I thought the sound effect was awesome. They kept the sound effect for TOS, and in TNG that alarm sound effect, whatever's like whoop 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 whoop. It was very naval. It was very, very military, and it had authority. And then like from the outside of the ship, like we had a slightly different sound. And a lot of times we combine them. Most of the time we just like heard the photons in flight. It was pretty cool. They looked badass in TNG. The ideas of who Future Guy could have been, my favorite would have been Tiberius Kirk from the Mirror Universe Spock sent Tiberius to the future of the main universe. Yeah, the idea that the Tantalus device sent people into the future was something that was part of the idea for bringing William Shatner over into Enterprise. The thing is, they didn't have the money for his fee after they found out that their fourth season would have been canceled. I have an idea they would have done that. They saved pieces of both ideas. I think we're all kind of happy they didn't, but I guess if you were the Enterprise writers, you would have wished you got to work with William Shatner, and who knows what it would have done for the show. Maybe it would have saved it. Little moves like that, now we have to second guess them. I would wonder what you guys think, sirs and madams. It would make sense if Tiberius Kirk was stuck in the future to try to change history to prevent OG Kirk from coming into the past. Yeah, because the idea was that the mirror universe diverges with contact with the people from Enterprise. That's what kind of starts it. But that's self-contradictory because the mirror universe sort of exists. I guess the idea would be that it existed, but it wasn't completely evil. But I think that we have other bits. My blink of an eye moment is over, isn't it? I'm no longer alone on my ship. I'm alone on my ship, sir.
You're never alone. Praise be to Kurlan.
Yeah, of course, get back at the same time. Great, guys. The Tholians are deploying their energy field weapon. It's a nice twist and a change on the energy vampire thing that we do a lot. And, Spock is fairly concerned about all this as he's like, we have to get out of here. If they finish that thing before they complete our repairs, we could be fucked. Because I guess it is, if the Tholian web is completed, like in a spider-like way, it drains all the energy from your ship. And apparently, like, all the problems in this space just aren't a problem for the fucking Tholians, huh? They're the ones who set off that tricobalt device. Why not, right, Sean?
That could be. I didn't think of that. Like, why aren't the Tholians messed up by this?
They have tricobalt device shielding. Their plan works brilliantly.
They cross-circuited the B.
Yeah. I think that they're expecting this plan to work out the way it did. When Mirror Archer knows about the plan, he knows too much, and he didn't say they over succeeded. He said they did exactly what they wanted.
Well, if they were trying to do that, then why wouldn't they have just tried to cripple the Enterprise too, and then get two ships?
They had everything they wanted. They didn't want to endanger it, and they were trying out yet another new weapon.
Okay.
Nothing like testing out the Tholian web on the Enterprise, right? Maybe you get another ship. Like, one ship disappears in disputed space. They're going to get shit for that. The second ship totally disappears. Like, the past Tholians, they're going to get one ship. If they could get another ship for themselves, that would be great. Right now, the plan is like, we send this ship back to the past and change our future. Like, these Tholians are like accepting the fact that they themselves may not exist unless the Tholian lifespan is like hundreds of years. Like, some of them, I guess most of them will still exist, but like, you're substantially changing your tech level, like what, about like 100 years back?
Yeah.
And I guess what happens is they really don't get away with it as much because they misuse the technology. Empress Hoshi just takes over Earth and uses it to oppress people. She's not about to let people build another ship like that. So the logic, I think, held up well. You put this through the Enterprise here, Crimon and Sean. You give me your headcanon on this.
I don't. The whole thing, if the Tholians are conspiring with the other universe Tholians, is kind of hard for me to grasp, but
the plan can only work if the past Tholians contacted the future Tholians.
But it's a different universe though, so the one timeline doesn't affect the other.
The Enterprise meta that they didn't introduce would be that the timelines diverge at the point of the Defiant arriving back in time.
Well, it didn't.
They never execute the story. But the thing is, the shadowy future person was supposed to be Shadow Kirk in one iteration. That was one possibility they held out for it. I think Angry Dick Romulan was still probably the odds-on favorite, but like possible, like exiled, Mirror Kirk would have been like, first of all, we should consider that. I would just ask you, he's a huge star. Would real William Shatner have saved, Enterprise, which was struggling with authenticity problems, among other things? It would have solved that authenticity problem fucking quick. William Shatner is starting to become the William Shatner of today at this point in 2005. He's the negotiator. He's all over TV. He's got a new level of fame as a comic actor. He has a hit show in the works with Boston Legal. He's like everywhere. Like, he's a commercial pitch man. He's built a non-viable company back from bankruptcy under the advice of like hiring the right people. He's shown that being a decent businessman is in his wheelhouse. William Shatner, not just a Star Trek, actor and legend and an acting legend, but now showing a little bit of Renaissance man capacity. And also, I think like showing the potential that one day he might actually become a real astronaut. I predict it's possible. I mean, entertain the idea, just put it through the Enterpriser. What do you think of the Tholians plan? I think the past Tholians had the ability. Forget the temporal Cold War. They have tech because it doesn't need to be connected. They've got tech. They've got the Tholian crystal time ball, and they use that and they can talk to the future Tholians. What do you think? Maybe they found some other race that exists outside of space and time. Like some dick version of the Metrons who are just like, we will bring your message back to your past peoples so that they can coordinate this mass kidnapping. We love that kind of thing.
God, it's
Mirror
very
Archer?
complicated. Huh?
The future guy being Archer would have been weird and undoable, but that probably was being kicked around because Bakula's acting in that Mirror episode. His intensity as Mirror Archer was pretty fun and pretty funny. I don't know if that was the greatest character anyone ever devised, but I didn't believe I was watching the same Jonathan Archer, at least, right? I mean,
No,
maybe that made it worth it. That was a different guy.
It was Cocaine Archer. It was definitely $20 cold, 20 credit cold.
He was heaving 20 bar Latinum cold Archer. He was heaving and like hyperventilating and just absolutely. Yeah, he's like, Scott, what are you doing with your method for this? It's great. He's like, I survived Hollywood in the 80s. I know all about this stuff. What do you mean? Like bringing out your bad side, hyperventilating kind of goes hand in hand from my experiences. Okay, Scott, we won't ask too many questions. Yeah, that would be best.
He was probably just imitating some asshole producer he knew.
So I learned this trick
like
from
his own Les Grossman. It was like his Les Grossman that he knew sometime in the past. Yes,
right? Yeah, the Quantum Leap director was just a piece of shit. He's like, he drove me to cocaine and drinking for a few weeks. Okay, I had a bad month there in the summer of '85.
Is that the reason for the song "Summer of '69"?
That, and I guess my parents were sparking their one night stand at that point. It's when it happened. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I guess it would be the fall of '68, but whatever. Let's just say my mother had a really difficult beginning to the summer of '69. But I hear both of them still made it to Woodstock separately. Who knows? My father was a great guy. Like I did enjoy meeting him. I held him in very, very, very high regard, and he'd be the first one to say he wasn't my dad. But how far? Like this is a little bit insulting, but like he made it to Vietnam and Woodstock. I survived saying to him, it's like the Forrest Gump quality of that ever kind of like smack you in the face. And he's like, fuck you. I didn't go on like a 2-year jog across America. Yeah, it was like he reacted like with much the same level of vitriol and sarcasm that I would have reacted in. It was like for whatever reason, when you meet your parent when you're much older, like I guess this might like relate to mirror universes somehow. When you meet your parent when you're older, you don't meet someone whose thought process lines up exactly with yours until you're like 40. It's so weird. It was like he said a few things that like added up like precisely to me in a way that like the dad who raised me never did. That dad still did all the heavy work and is the dad that I love, but like, that genetic understanding, like he had to like work without that. He's like, God, my kid's an idiot. And I don't even have the genetic understanding thing to work with. Like my poor dad had to work extra hard. My father had it easy. He just like dropped me off at the the orphanage, and just like, well, a little more cocaine will get me over this disappointment in life. I guess, I'll go to Woodstock. And good for him. I hope he had fun. So anyway, Spock, Kirk, and McCoy are in their separate parts of this universe. On the bridge of the Enterprise, we have Spock and McCoy, and also Uhura is starting to like become emotional. Now, what's weird here is she is operating as fourth in command of this ship. We don't talk about it much, but she's becoming emotional, but not unhinged. Her emotions hit and play different from other people's. And I have to say, Miss Nichols does an absolutely fantastic job of acting in this segment. It's one of her best acting segments in all of TNG. We don't see her get this much time again to do something this much fun until like, get in the closet, Mr. Adventure. Like it's a long time between real fun moments with Michelle. She's gorgeous here. and just like the determination, like her. Let's talk about her playing crazy versus the other people. Sean, you go first.
She pretty much holds it together in this one, doesn't she? Like,
she's emotionally affected, but she's not under the influence yet, really, of the nebula or whatever it is. The tear in space isn't fucking up her head yet. She's more level-headed, maybe because she only just learned everything a few months ago because Nomad erased her brain, but she's more level-headed and mature than the rest of the crew.
Well, yeah, I mean, her character's always been strong-willed, like resilient in a resilient way. Like she's dealt with the Gamesters of Triskelion. You know, she's fearless. You know, she knows her limits.
Always
she
been
won't
an
back down.
enchanting negress every time.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes.
You know what? It's my show. I should be the one that says
like
something
cheeks.
that risky. Good.
Well, we've
good
learned
risk
not to fear
assessment.
words, so
Yeah,
as she said.
yes.
I wasn't paying
Best Star
attention.
Trek line.
I missed all this entire conversation.
Oh,
All right.
well, we'll start over.
No, how about no?
Yeah, we'll use all the racial epithets again for you, Kremlin. Don't worry about it.
How about no?
No, we're talking about Uhura being a pretty strong-willed character and resilient.
We're talking about a couple of times that she was called weird names and it didn't bother her. And it was kind of an example to everybody who ever got called a weird name. Like, you know, they say that Star Trek was always political and always like woke and also always like social. Like it always had like a social awareness. It wasn't on this finger wagging mission to tell you how to live. Like, it would just simply make the observation. It's like, you know what? Like, it has been said by revisionist historians that both sides in the American Civil War were racist by our standards, which is a fucked up thing to say, considering so many people died to set other people free. But like, they kind of show us like that kind of contradiction with Abraham Lincoln. And it's just like, oh, they weren't really racist. They just spoke in words that are antiquated to us now. And like, just as antiquated as our word, like, colored will be in like less than 5 years, like the shortest like lived term. It's like, and we've seen mission creep in all these euphemisms. We should just face words head on and not let them bother us anymore. In our lifetime, we've seen it go from idiocy to retarded to special needs to all of these things now get you thrown out of a workplace to neural divergent is now the only acceptable way to say it. And if you say neural divergent wrong, you're fired, right? I mean, it's crazy, the mission creep on these. Hey, it's good to see the Rev, by the way.
Hey, Mr. House Party.
I just say short bus.
Mr. House Party has entered the party. Hello to you, sir. One meow each. Oh, my sirs, garters and genders in space. You know what? We are taking a trip through every mirror episode. I believe that would make a total of 5. But I think Voyager,
sounds like a fun time.
I think Voyager Living Witness might be worth watching. It'll be the last in the cycle, so we have enough time to consider it and the mirror universe workaround, because it is a perceptional thing. I don't know. It's worth thinking about. I think just because, has this crew ever done Voyager? I don't remember.
What do you mean? So. Have we talked about a Voyager episode? Is that what you're asking?
Have we ever reviewed Voyager?
No, we've talked about it a lot, but we haven't gone
It
full.
Makes sense we talk about it. We have to get that out of the way and break our Voyager cherry.
Which one?
I like where this is going.
Living Witness is the one that fits into the mirror arc.
Please discuss more.
It has 7, but she's all green and gross, unfortunately. But I mean, that still beats Kes on her best day. What can I tell you?
God.
Kes was hot. Like Jennifer Lien was a good-looking woman when she was younger, but like, they kept having her say creepy fucking things that like really bothered me about her character and her character's sexual needs as a.
I didn't like the back pregnancy, but I'm also.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the back pregnancy.
That one really creeped me out.
Yeah.
That was less creepy than so many other things about her milieu. But look, we're using all our sets and everything we've ever used in Star Trek here. So we're reusing like the set from the All Faiths Cathedral or whatever the hell they have on the ship where they hang out and Kirk performed. Since the days of tall ships, it's been the privilege of ship's captains to marry women who are going to lose their husbands in just minutes. Do you think Kirk, like, after the episode where we fight the Romulans in Balance of Terror, after the events of that, where we lose that one phaser controlman, do you think because the marriage ceremony didn't get finished, do you think that there was a meeting in this captain where he talked to the girlfriend where he's like, I'm sorry, but I just can't give you his Starfleet insurance money. No way. I mean, that wouldn't be right. I mean, yeah, the intent was there. We were 2 minutes away, but we didn't finish the ceremony. You're not fucking married. You can't have the money. Right? Do you think he was a dick about that? Do you think like, I'll just like glide my hand across this piece of paper and just sign right here so she can have that place on Rigel she deserves.
I was looking
Miss Tomlinson deserved better. She's with a new guy like 5 episodes later.
Do we have the sound bit of what does God need with a starship? I was looking for that one.
We do.
Where is it?
I'm trying to remember.
It's too late.
All you had to do was pull the trigger.
I have that one.
No, because when we were talking about the chapel on the Enterprise, that was a good time for the what does God need with a starship?
I don't care.
Oh, wrong one. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Like, what does God need with the starship is one that I would not delete. So I can't find it. You know what happens is the StreamYard's interface has been such a drag. It's like they're the Armis of streamers.
Let's go.
Not yet.
Exactly. They got to raise their prices one more time. If anyone deserves to get yelled at, it's Deanna. Anyway, like Spock gives a fairly inspirational speech about how he did his best and we lost the captain because we were all going to die if I didn't fire back at the Tholians. And everyone understands except McCoy. He's just like, I don't understand why you had to keep us alive. Damn it. It's like kind of forgetting stuff like, if we all die, no one can save the captain. It's like, it's just like, like that 25% chance about the captain not being dead. Like it could go either way now. It's like, you're not helping this fucking thing at all. It's like, if what you say is true and there's no reason left to stay here, the ship is still crippled. Calm the fuck down. Like, let us repair this ship. And he's like, well, we have another duty we have to do in the captain's office. After Spock makes, a pretty good speech and someone else goes crazy, and I can't tell who it is, but it looks a lot like Mr. Riley.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Riley in more than 2 episodes?
You mean the one that sings
Riley is
Take Me Home?
He's in Naked Time, and he's in,
he's in Conscience of the King.
Conscience of the King. That's it. But that's it. I can't think of any other episodes that he's in at all. Not even standing around in the back. He kind of got replaced by Chekhov.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
He might have.
I liked Riley.
Maybe the actor was too difficult. They didn't like the actor, or he thought had a higher opinion of where he was in that franchise than he actually was, or didn't get along with George Takei. Like, who knows?
I don't know. He just recently passed away too.
R.I.P. Mr. Riley. We appreciate your service to the United Federation of Planets. There will be a puppet show and a memorial at the Chaplain. Chaplain Charlie will memorialize him
with ice cream.
There will be ice cream for everyone. He was a hero
in the bowling
in every
alley
sense of the word, yet he died for nothing.
Didn't he mention the bowling alley in it?
There is a bowling alley. He wanted to go bowling with Chekhov, with Sulu.
7-10 split.
By the way, I do like their little medal here. They did a good job. I don't know, like they bought it at some 5 and dime store. They've made a medal themselves, but it looks real. They went with the red, white, and blue. They would never do that today. They would never have a red, white, and blue medal. Never, never, ever, ever. Although I would say this, if it was like the
if it was French,
it would be blue, white, and red. They would make sure to make it blue, white, and red. They would purposely make it blue, white, and red. They would never. I would say the only thing that would be acceptable aside from red, white, and blue, because Star Trek is an American ideals and an American show, would be how about a pale blue, like, Mandarin collar type, which, like we see on other Starfleet stuff. That would have been acceptable too, with like a star cluster. But that's the medal. He was a hero in every sense of the word, yet he died for nothing. I'm saying he died so others could live. McCoy has really lost the thread here and starts arguing with Spock. And that's when we get this inspirational message from Kirk. It's like, if you're watching this, it means that I'm now dead. God bless you. And by the way, you're probably both arguing. It's over there, Spock. It's like he seems to have an omnipotent view through this monitor from beyond the grave of what's going on in this command packet style, like, message that he's left for them. And really, it's not anything of operational importance. It's just like, guys, you're going to make a great team. Don't worry about it. You're friends. Remember, you've been through death and life together. Just don't be dicks and everything will be fine. And like, it's like, geez, we've been right bastards. We totally forgot that we should stop being dicks. And like, and Spock's sort of like, speak for yourself, man. Like, you've been the real dick on this mission, man. Like, I'm just going to try to save the captain. I appreciate it if you've calmed down. And, McCoy has another emotional outburst in Kirk's quarters where he's just saying to Spock, it's like, you've made sure of it. If the crew survives and I've had and I find an antidote, like, you'll have command of the Enterprise locked in. And he's just like, let's just discharge our duties. Like, Spock has had it.
Yeah, McCoy is being kind of a dick in this episode, for sure.
And Spock might be affected. Spock, if McCoy is not affected, he's out of character. There's only two explanations. We would assume he's affected, right? He's affected, and he's so emotional and so human that he's more affected than other people. Yet he's able to focus enough to do his work. That's the only thing that makes sense for McCoy.
Yeah.
Damn it, I can do hydronic math, but damn it, Bones, damn it, Spock, I can do hydronic equations, but I can't stop drinking. But only if I keep on drinking. But we actually get to the point after like a kind of a long, prolonged confrontation where he's like, you gonna relieve me, bro? You're not gonna step to me like that? And there's Kirk on the monitor behind him, about to give them the advice. And when they finally do listen to the message from Kirk and pay some attention, he's like, Kirk, if you see this, I'm dead. Spock, you're making the most difficult command decisions you've ever had to make if I'm dead. And you know what? You're going to do a great job. You're as trained as we can get you. You're the best. An army is a team. It moves, eats, sleeps as a team. It's like he gives him his little patent speech there. And he's like, and listen, talk to Bones too. But one thing he makes sure to say is he doesn't say listen to him. He goes, think about what he says. He understands the dynamic well.
Seek out McCoy, and if you find his advice sound, take it. Yeah.
He doesn't say listen to him, though. He says talk to him. You know what I mean? He's like, McCoy could definitely fuck this up, but I think maybe a little tempering in Spock's mind would be the best. Like, he'll still do the right thing whether McCoy is right or wrong, but he might do the wrong thing if he doesn't talk to McCoy. It's more of a fail-safe. Like, he knows McCoy won't knock Spock off mission, but he might suggest a more compassionate way or get him to make some concessions to keep the crew from being frightened. Things that are practical that fall under his purview is, also chief morale officer of the ship. So after they watch the message from Kirk, finally after all this, like, tomcatting around and, territorial pissings by both of these guys, we finally have a moment where we say, all right, we watched the message from our commander. He's right. We're wrong. Let's be cool. And someone's going to have to water that aloe plant. So let's work together. And and McCoy's like, damn it, I'm so ashamed that I was a right prick about this one. It's like Santa Claus talking to Jesus in episode 1 of South Park. It's like, I've been a right bastard. It's like finally he understands, like, yeah, it's your day, not mine.
Ooh, thank you, Ruby Hoove.
Oh,
I did not. Ruby Hoove. Wow. Hey, let's get that done.
Admiral Teag, incoming super chat.
We have five Admiral Teag memberships from our friend Ruby Hoove dropped into the ether here. Let's see who was lucky enough to get these 5 super chats. Let's take a look in the live chat. Go. We have Reverend Burnfried Axe Wielder, Miguel Morale, 1629. Max Redstone, hello, sir. Both the Words and Orphan Zane have become members thanks to Ruby Hoove. Ruby Hoove, thank you so much for bringing members into the channel. And you know what? Like, I usually I don't do this because I don't totally know what to do with it, but like sometimes like I do like to drop the member chats in, and let's throw a few more members into the mix and see what happens. A little trouble with the pop out chat. It's not cooperating with me, but you know what? Here come like they give me a few memberships to give away every month. Do I have any left? Why is it asking me if I want to join my own channel? I just want to do a drop. Oh, here we go. Terms apply. Fuck your terms. All right, here comes a full spread of 5 more, guys. Ruby Hoove, thank you so much. We're going to bring a few more people under the auspices. We have now Decloaking Tim Hayes, Nilla Rafer, 1900 Chili Willie, Beard of Liberty, and Grandma of 9. Grandma of 9, I'm sure you're a 10 of 9, like 7 of 9. Beard of Liberty, a good friend of mine, Chili Willie. Hello, sir. Nilla Wafer, hello. Greetings. And Tim Hayes, good to see you, sir. It's good to see all of you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the fleet. And thank you for joining us. And thank you very much, Ruby Hoove, for gifting those memberships. We got 10 new members. It's fun. Be nice to get some more. And you know what? I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Teag, for donating. Thank you.
You know what? I dug down deep.
We need more viewers like you.
You know what? I'm going to remember to thank myself later. But at the end,
is it me or does Tim Hayes sounds like a MLB name?
Tim Hayes sounds either like an MLB name or a guy who's about to start like the world's like most litigiously challenged coffee chain. Right? It's like they have the golden arches. I have the golden arcs. It's a totally different thing.
I swear I probably have a 1985 Topps card that has the name Tim Hayes on it. It's just a pure baseball name.
It's awesome. Such an all-American name.
Hey, Mr. House Party.
We're getting massive drops of super chats.
Admiral Teag, incoming super chat.
We have massive drops of memberships from both Crimlon and Mr. House Party 6. Let's see just how far this has gone. Sirs and madams, we have an unprecedented, just amazing drop of super chats here, bringing into the channel KG2121, Love It Ever After, Canadian Spider-Man. Hello, sir. Canadian Spider-Man, it's good to see you. You know what, sir? You know, we banned Canadian Miles Morales from the channel. Fuck him, sir. Fuck Canadian Miles Morales.
Well, it's just Miles Morales.
Like him coming around here. Well, you know, it wasn't for any reasons other than that he was trying to claim to be some sort of Canadian Spider. There's only one Canadian Spider-Man, and that's our friend Canadian Peter Parker, Doomcock Mod, and Sean met Canadian Spider-Man. So like,
yeah, he came by the house. Yeah, we spent the afternoon together. Really, really great day.
He's a cool guy. Canadian Spider-Man? I need to be taller than am I taller than Canadian Spider-Man?
I don't know. I haven't met you in person.
Aren't you like 5'6"?
5'9". I'm 5'9", you motherfucker. Not that Spanish.
Not the same, I think.
All right, I'm going to buy some thicker shoes. If I
We compared measurements in another way.
You short people.
Shut the fuck up, Krimlon, you goddamn NBA player. All right, Krimlon Secret Side is an NBA player. Patrick Ewing joining us tonight with the voice mod. He's a huge Star Trek fan. He watches a young boy growing up in Jamaica playing basketball.
I don't watch young boys. How dare you?
Welcome, Joanna Funkhouse. And Avalon, my friend. Hi, it's nice to see you. I just saw you over at Fat Steven FFG's Gaming. Hyperfixer Reviews. Leave Heinrichsen Live. Kilo 4922. I was able to pull it off. And Left Eye Ego. Welcome all of you to the channel. And guys, thank you so much for buying the channel memberships. I appreciate everyone who did it, except myself, who, let's face it, for me, it was very easy. But for you guys, we're going to give you some value for this. There was another upload today. There was a channel upload today. And also, like last week's Roman Triumph, you guys, for us to make a video, it was going to be just for members. My decision was that we needed to take that video and just ram it right like the USS Constellation into the Doomsday Machine, Sean. I wanted to ram that video essay right down their fucking throat. I have had enough of being called a Nazi, a misogynist, a bigot, a racist, and being told what my political beliefs are just based on a fucking television show. All of us are too good for that. And you know what? One thing I learned in this job as a YouTuber, and this is what it is to me, I consider it, kind of a passion. It's gone beyond hobby. This has become something of a profession. There's professionalism here. Okay,
this is almost anything if it pays good enough.
Krimlon, you'll get paid in sex after the show. Don't worry. We've had this discussion a million times. But you know what? For 2 years, we have been here every Saturday night celebrating Star Trek with you, keeping this community alive, keeping Star Trek alive. And what have I done for you except bought you hope and fought on your behalf and never bullshitted you? We took it to the New Trek people and we siphoned tens of thousands of views from them with watch parties. Tens of thousands of views. We had more fans than anyone ever watched at one time at Star Trek Academy, period, during our Strange New World watch parties. During our watch parties for Star Trek Discovery, we had more people watching us than Star Trek Discovery, period. There was absolutely no two ways about it. And we are part of the reason us and many other shows work together. We will be allowed to fulfill our destiny. In my last life, I rid Europe of Rommel and his kind. And in this life, I will restore Star Trek. You know what? There's Phantom Menace, and now I introduce a new term to all Star Trek fans. Restorationists. We are restorationists. We are original continuity restorationists. And we are Final Frontier believers. Rant over. Seriously, guys, it's time to restore the final continuity. Hashtag restoration. Hashtag Star Trek restoration. Let's restore Star Trek. Let's bring it back to its former glory. If it can't be through United, then some other way. But I do not want any form of a Star Trek legacy show. I do not want Captain Seven. I've had enough of Jerry Ryan. I don't care. Currently, 58-year-old Jerry Ryan will almost definitely be 59 this year. She'll be 61 by the time the show comes out. I don't need this in my life. I got older so that I could be a dirty old man, not so that I could date old women. I was not reading fucking what's a magazine for old women, like Red Book. When I was 15, I was not reading oh man, let me look at this recipe book by Betty Crocker. Oh man, Betty's so hot. like Anne Land, I was not turned on by Anne Landers or her sister Dear Abby. I did not give a fuck about this is not my thing. Sybil Shepherd. Now you're talking. All of a sudden you've captured my attention. Okay, and we'll find out whether Lucy Liu is on that plane to Texas or not later tonight. If Mark beams in, we'll find out. But so far we're
she's on her way
ahead of schedule. We are well ahead of schedule to finish this review in plenty of time. What I find interesting is like she came from where I live. She now lives near Sean, where Mark lives, and soon she'll be living where Sean lives.
Is she actually moving here?
Well, I mean, Mark said he hasn't told her yet that he knows you or asked her about you, but I'm assuming within a couple of hours of that, yeah, she's probably gonna have that house in the market.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I mean, can't blame her.
Uhura breaks down and starts crying emotionally over Kirk in her quarters alone, and sees something in her mirror that, first of all, the breakdown that she has about losing Captain Kirk. This is something that was missing from everyone else, and including her on the bridge, alone in her quarters. She is devastated. There is no sexual connection between these characters.
No.
They have no chemistry. I mean, if they're trapped on a planet, they'd fall in love. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Captain Kirk has no interest like that. He is a professional friend and colleague. He is looking to advance a career. He wants her in like an admiral in charge of Starfleet communication one day down the line after his retirement. Like, he has high hopes for his entire bridge crew. My feeling has always been that the people we see are the people who are either it was like a mix of the best and people in need of help. Like, Chekhov was there because he was so stupid, but like Sulu was there because he was so competent, and so was Uhura. He's like, I can afford to train another helmsman and weapons operator, but a good communications officer is the difference between life and death. I need Uhura there. And I also feel like a lot of these episodes, like Doomsday Machine, where we don't see the regular crew, they go to their non-duty battle stations, and he's just there at the B crew because Kirk just doesn't leave the bridge. I think it adds to the show that sometimes we don't have Uhura and other people on the bridge mysteriously missing, like George Takei. He's working all three shifts that day. So, Spock, go back to your quarters. I've got this one. Scotty, there's no need for you to take your watch on the bridge. I've got this one. Captain Kirk probably takes 2 watches every day. I think he lives to be on that bridge. What do you think? I mean, this is where he's happiest. But Uhura is seeing him in the mirror. I like the use of the old occultish symbol of a mirror to see the vision of someone, but in a sci-fi tale. It was kind of a cool combination, juxtaposition. And it was the kind of thing that Star Trek, bad modern Star Trek, would try to do today and just utterly fucking fail at. They would do it so badly. She'd be like, oh my God, I am looking in my mirror. My mirror has a reflection in it. Oh my God, it is that of Captain Kirk himself. I must go and speak to Una about this in so many words. Una, I have seen a reflection in the mirror. So great acting by Uhura here. I love the emotional moment here. It's like she's about to get something out of her drawer. She's thinking about like life, and like unlike Tasha, and unlike our friend Elia.
I'm sorry, Admiral. John the Beagle Dad is saying goodnight here.
John, good night, sir.
You, John.
Good to see you, buddy. Good night. Have a good one. Yes, subscribe. Thank you for encouraging people. Uhura here, one thing I'll say, she doesn't dress like an asshole when she's on her spare time in her quarters. She I am
not a fucking asshole.
Aaliyah, we've been over this. We can work on it. Now that you're a replicant, yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about this. You're like, you've got low grade asshole problems. It can be worked on. I think with some cognitive behavioral therapy, we can fix it. But for right now, as I put the banner up so that we can let Miss Nichols have her moment here, I want to try to capture the right moment of it so that we can see where she actually on her face, like she puts on some jewelry and she's trying to like calm down and like she's heartsick. I don't know. Like she's like a terrible chest pain. She
brought out the toys.
I don't know if she's in pain because of the sector in space that she's in, or she's just really like devastated, upset over the captain. It's like we don't know how, like what we don't get anything on it, and we don't know how to play. Yeah, it's a little of both. Like the emotions are getting out of line, but she is never fully affected by this. She keeps like she stays 85% rational. If anything, it just causes her to have an emotional swing. But for someone as close to Captain Kirk, who spends as many hours working with him as she does, she's not exactly his moneypenny, closer to an equal or a colleague. She spent so much time with the captain. She saved his life. He saved hers with some of these moves that she's made. She's an extremely valuable member of the crew. I mean, what she says in TMP, our odds of surviving this mission may have just doubled. Could she simply be devastated here, right? I mean, this is someone deeply meaningful to her.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's remember that she, I don't know if we've seen, if the episode's where it is in the airing order, but in Operation Annihilate, she holds up, she stands up to Kirk when he's like, get that transmission back, when they make contact with his sister-in-law. And she's like, oh, the contact's broken. She's like, get it back. And she goes, I'm afraid that's not possible at the moment, sir. They broke contact before we did. And they do not acknowledge my signal. I love how she was very respectful, but she just
firm.
Yeah, she was.
Well, no one knows that Kirk's emotionally compromised. He's worried about George.
Yeah, he's worried about his family. But I love the way she delivered that line, because it was absolutely respectful and firm and strong, and that's. But I said respectful. I mean, but she still calls him sir and doesn't. I'm going to report you.
She didn't go exactly marching down to HR. This ship doesn't have a
Hey, Cam's Crash Courses is here.
Cam, it's great to see you.
Hey, Cam.
Just missed the big membership drop. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another one, but it's great to see you.
He is a member. Cam is
got one. That's right.
He is green.
Cam is a member.
He's green.
Welcome. Hail and good evening to you. And Rocco the Brave is here. Hello, all. I don't want to alarm you, but some striking young man has hacked into Sean's video feed. Hey, Sean, you're getting a compliment. You're getting a compliment there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Rocco's using
young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? Like compared to what, a rock formation.
Yeah. Compared to my mom. My mom's a nice young woman, though.
My mom is. I'm young compared to my mom. Yes, but she sees Kirk in the mirror here, and she's the first one to have this apparition. And Kirk's in terrible pain, and like some good acting by William Shatner. It's like he looks like he's like if this book had a name, it would be called The Other Side of the Glory Hole. We do humor here too, folks. We do jokes.
Wait, who wrote that one?
Me just now. I looked at his face and it came to me. Okay, literally came to me. So she runs out to the hallway. She immediately runs into McCoy, which has led me to something that I've always believed. Crew quarters, especially the bridge crew, and the sick bay and the bridge are all real pretty close to each other. Like that top part of the bridge, that's a conning tower. You take the turbo lift up there, but like the main occupation, like the habitation rings, whatever they are of the ship, and the area where people live, that is real close to sick bay and real close to the turbo lift of the bridge.
Yeah, I think isn't sick bay.
I think
sick bay is like in the most protected part of the ship. It would be kind of near
middle of the saucer section would be my guess.
Yeah, it's not far from the bridge, but it's buried in there.
It tracks because you take a turbo lift ride down and sort of around a little bit to go there if the tracking of the lights remains consistent. So it would seem that to me, you go down below the, what do you call it? The bridge, the flying bridge, the absolute conning tower of the Enterprise where they, command the ship. And that's only just so big. you go down and then there's an immediately a larger lower level, and then like a much larger saucer-sized level below that. I'm guessing sick bay is probably on the first saucer-sized level, or the second, something like that, with something like quarters.
Let me look it up
towards the outside. Yeah, you can look it up, and we can actually know. So Uhura has kind of a breakdown here with Scotty. With McCoy, and McCoy is reasonably sure that she just has space madness like everyone else. There's some space madness going down in engineering, and there's some space madness going down in med bay. And
here we go.
Enterprise is really deeply in jeopardy. Go ahead, Sean.
I don't know if this is official. Oh, wait. I clicked add, and then you clicked. What do we got to do?
I removed my thing from stage. I can add yours.
Here, you do it. There it. No, that's you.
Fine.
There it is.
All right.
So sick bay is right there. So it's near the front of the ship, but it's right in the middle. So it looks like it's pretty secured in there.
If we could look down from the top, it would probably also be in the center, in the thickest part of the. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
very close to the bridge turbo lift, the main turbo shaft of the saucer section.
Yeah, there it is. Crew quarters, sick bay. Yeah, right in the middle. Cool. Okay.
Exactly in the most protected part. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We know our Star Trek. We can do stuff, and you guys are the best chat. Helping us along with this Star Trek discussion.
Yeah, right here. Let me get.
This is going to get better than I ever imagined it could go when I realized Kremlin would be here.
This is Kirk's bondage room right there.
There we go. See,
I like where this is going. Tell me more.
Yeah. And then there.
We need more descriptions.
The impulse deck.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Captain Kirk. Yes. What the hell happened?
I turned it off.
No. I mean, what happened to our avatars? We disappeared.
Oh, you got to add them back in after.
Yeah. I fixed it. Anyway, the Tholian web is almost completely ready to be deployed. Thank you. The Tholian web is almost completely ready to be deployed. We're up against energy vampire stuff. And then, everyone in sickbay is acting totally nuts, except Uhura, who's fairly lucid. And McCoy decides he's going to listen to her. That human element of Star Trek. It's like humans trusting other humans. Like, it even makes it to the motion picture, This feeling, this simple touch of a human hand touching another human hand is incomprehensible to V'ger. Or in that other episode, like where Kirk grabs that woman's hand, it's like, human flesh touching human flesh. Do you understand that? It's like this is like a recurring theme in Star Trek. And then we have my favorite apparition of Kirk in the engine room. Like, he was smart the first time. It's like the first time was like to see what Uhura looks like naked. Guess I'll go there first, and that was smart. We all loved that idea. But then he's like, you know what would make me feel better about being a ghost? Just doing some work. And this makes me afraid of my greatest fear. I'm not afraid of work. Work is great. What I'm more afraid of is that I would die at work, because if you die at work, you stay at work forever, unpaid. It's a living hell. And, so many people are stuck there. I mean, people stuck at work. I mean, Captain Kirk dies at work, hey, I made a rhyme. And so does Picard, getting sucked into the Nexus. They're there forever. They're not getting paid. Not that they ever were, but they sure ain't getting paid now. They're not accruing vacation days or going to Starfleet medical bases,
They get paid.
They get paid in amenities.
Well, I don't know. I remember in Star Trek 6, Scotty says, I just bought a boat.
That is true. I guess, you know what? Like, he bought it through some sort of like barter where it's like there was some like boat, like boatwright who was like making ancient boats, and like Scotty's like, I'll give you a fair bottle of rum and a warp core for it. It's like, how do you have a warp core laying around? Don't ask questions, laddie. Am I even allowed to have this? Don't ask questions, laddie. It's green.
Well, remember, he gave that guy the transparent aluminum formula, so probably got a little bit on the side there as well.
I wish that guy would stop keeping it to himself and start sharing it a little more, because it would be useful in regular life, right? Like I could use a transparent aluminum panel for my apartment, but Spock and McCoy have a moment where McCoy actually apologizes to Spock, and then McCoy passes out. And while that's happening, Kirk appears like, you, oh boys. And
hey boys, look what I have here.
We can see he's stuck in the interphase space. Spock works out a couple of equations. He's got a hint of a clue of an idea here. They release Uhura from sickbay, realizing that she's not affected. She's one of the people it's not going to affect. Whatever. Some people it takes a lot longer, and that effect in space may be diminishing. It's been a few days since this happened, since they set off the tricobalt explosive device. Sean, let's talk again. Let's put this through the Enterpriser again. Krimlon, Sean, you've seen the Enterprise episode where we find out that this is being done by angry future Tholians. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that they're doing a good job of did Enterprise do a good job of building up this episode? How's the lore going on this?
You mean, well, Enterprise didn't build up this episode. Is that what are you saying?
Well, this episode comes first, so they can only build onto it, right? I mean, they prequel it, but it's a form of building on. I suppose what I mean.
They show, well, it's kind of like what Star Trek Continues did with the follow-up to that mirror episode, but this is reverse. So, or is no, well, kind of, sort of, but no, I like it. It explains what's on the other side of the mirror. So
very well, yeah, and it also like
you got to watch that
a little bit to this episode.
We got to do the Star Trek Continues. Now. We have to do the Star Trek Continues now with this series we're doing. I'm begging you.
If there's a mirror universe,
I want you to see it. I want you to see it because to me it's canon. I don't know how everyone else feels about Star Trek Continues, but I consider it canon. Even Rod Roddenberry said, as far as he was concerned, it's canon because it was that good.
Rod Roddenberry would know, although he's made some terrible decisions. Bones shows up with the antidote. He says he's ordered it administered by hypospray or orally to the entire crew, which means I guess this goes by species, right? If some people are like Orions, they need to get a hypospray. If you're a human, you can drink it. Whatever. It makes sense. It's not a purely human crew, even though it's mostly human. We see Bones pouring people drinks. He does that. They love having the doctor as the bartender. They do it in the movies. They do it in the show. Every single doctor plays bartender. Even the guy who's only in it for one episode. He's like, a man will tell things to his bartender. He won't tell his doctor. So,
I said, give me the brandy.
Where can I get some cheap cocaine? No, I didn't mean like that, Chris. Well, I'm bored with my job, and I don't like being captain of the Enterprise, so why should people watch this show? The Cage is the worst episode of fucking Star Trek ever.
I like Dr. Boyce, though.
I like Dr. Boyce, and I like Dr. Piper. But you know what? Like, they're far too old to be in space. I believe they're still on the ship. They're just not that alpha, they're not important. They're like Dr. Solar. Dr. Solar's always there.
You know what? That little story I started writing, I have an explanation for Boyce's age.
He kept getting divorced.
Yeah, he's actually only 45.
He's been married 3 times.
Yeah.
All right. So it turns out that the cure to the space madness is Klingon nerve gas.
I have a hard time being married just once, let alone that many times.
Would you like to drink some Klingon nerve gas? Nerve gas isn't the same until you've had it in the original Klingon.
It's not. He's giving them some Tranya. That's all. That's what it looks like.
Right? Yeah, rectally.
Teag,
there we go.
The astronauts drink. Yeah, Crip was like, we're giving this out across the entire ship by hyperspray orally, or in the case of Krimon, he's asked for an anal. He's asked to have an enema of it.
Yeah, like Sulu's like, would it mix with a coffee enema?
You're all not doing it right. I'll show you how it's done.
So, like the episode of Star Trek with Krimon would be like in the opening segment, a crewman would explode because he was full of tribbles. It's like, Jim, he shoved a tribble up his ass, and this is what happens 6 months later. It's like,
oh my god!
Tell us.
You notice McCoy's got the pinky thing going on there, the way he's holding it.
He knows how to hold.
He's showing his privilege.
There's I gotta digitize it. I do have it on DVD. When I was I turned 5 years old. It was 1979. Okay, no one had VHS tapes, but my dad was in the industry, and so he got a hold of a camera. So my whole 5th birthday is on a video.
Oh, that's so cool.
And there's he had the camera running all night. The party was all day. And at night, all the grown-ups started drinking, and my dad was drinking, and he takes a sip like this with his pinky, and my cousin Ronnie, who's passed as well, he's drinking it, and he goes, "You're a British cigarette," like really loud. And he goes, you British cigarette. And he goes, you, and he would just zoomed in on my dad drinking, and he goes, "You drink like a." You know that with your little pinky up in the air. I gotta show you. It was so funny.
Sean doesn't mean it.
What don't I mean?
Wait, now I forgot what I said.
What, the British cigarette word?
Maybe I meant that. I don't know. I forget. My mind is glitching because I'm trying to figure out where we are in the episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a tangent. I saw that McCoy, and I thought of my dad.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. If McCoy also, he has fantastic fashion. Check this out, kids, sirs and madams. He has McCoy has a pinky ring.
Does he?
He seems to have a pinky ring. Look really closely at his pinky. Now, remember, this is also the man who has a disco medallion in the motion picture. Let's remember, DeForest Kelly wore his own clothes for that segment. He walked in off the street. He's like, damn it, this movie has been reshot and rewritten so many times. I'm not getting it. Fuck your costume. I'm going to Studio 54. I'm going out dancing in an hour.
Yes. He wasn't like that kind of a guy, though. Wasn't he married to his wife for ages?
He was married to his wife for ages, but he still liked to dress really cool. My dad.
And he smoked, made him cool.
My dad was married and a cop, but he still he smoked. He wore disco glasses, and he had some really cool pimpin' clothes. What can I tell you? He was a cop.
Did he have a lot of hair, like big hair?
He was Irish and he had red hair, so it was naturally straight and kind of fine. But he had the Catholic school haircut until the day he died, parted to the side, all one length bangs like Damien's. He had that haircut all his life. He kept the Catholic school haircut. So he's like, it's police regulation. I'm used to it. I don't care. For a while there, he had the buzz cut and he looked like Steve McQueen, but then he married my mom and just gave up on life. Don't need to look good anymore. Jeez. At least I got the kid. He's all right. At least the kid's okay. No, I'm just kidding. It was a very happy marriage. But McCoy gives him this Klingon nerve gas. And, of course, Scotty appreciated it. Some good acting by James Doohan there. And he's drinking with the hand that has fingers.
Will it make a good mix with scotch? It should. I'll let you know.
Is that all his fingers? No, that's
his good hand.
Is that his good hand?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's like when we see him from behind and he's gripping the side of the of the computer terminal as he's facing the turbo lift, because like his station, he's kind of semi back to the bridge. When we see him, he's always has that hand curled under.
Mm-hmm.
So are they just like he's doing something with his, he's like, I'll bail the forest out by putting my pinky out too, even though some of it got shot off in the war. He looks like a right British cigarette right now. Everyone in England is laughing at him. They know what he's all about. No wonder he's so faithful to his wife. Wife. Yeah, I don't know. DeForest Kelley really just fucked up with that drink. So they drink their Klingon nerve gas.
I'm trying to find if there's a picture of his hand.
And there's a couple of times that you can see it. Maybe ask Grok about it or something. But he also says once you drink the Klingon nerve gas, it's so strong that you could get hit on stun and maybe not even feel it. Sean's figuring out how to make the Klingon nerve gas drink. Spock doesn't mind the Klingon nerve gas either too much. So everybody's just a little stinky on the Enterprise.
He was shot 6 fucking times. 4 times in his leg, once in his chest, and once through his right middle finger.
Yeah, the finger thing was the least of his worries. He was just like, he didn't get back into the war. And it was his own guys too. They panicked and started firing. Man. Yeah, from behind, he took them all in the back. He was facing the enemy, but he got hit in the back. But it was friendly fire. And to which I say, what's so friendly about that? But sirs and madams on the bridge, Spock's in control. Here's your boy, your kid, Ed Rocky, super educated, smarter than Spock. The Beastie Boys had respect for Star Trek that I'm sure they did not appreciate coming from J.J. Abrams. Dr. McCoy was at Studio 54 with Mr. Furley before being called to the Enterprise. He absolutely was. And David Bowie, Mick Jagger, and Trump. And
I love Mr. Furley.
Because they dress the same. And so does Captain. And so does.
Who was the Playboy neighbor? Larry? Was it Larry?
Larry from Three's Company or Herb from WKRP are basically the same character but different actors.
Yeah, but Larry was his Coke connection.
Wait, is that true?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's Three's Company headcanon right there.
People.
Yeah, that's the Three's Company headcanon is that Larry was Jack's Coke connection.
All right, so I was on a bunch of drugs at the Limelight, and they gave Joyce DeWitt and whoever played Larry from Three's Company Limelight Awards. And I was like walking around the Limelight out of my mind like the bad lieutenant. And I saw Joyce DeWitt and Larry from Three's Company. I was like, oh, wow, it's so cool to see you. And then I went to Larry. I was like, I just want you to know that you're something of a personal hero to me. I also hit on women without any respect. I want to thank you for teaching me that. And it's just laughing and just cracking up. And it was really cool. It was really cool.
So he got the joke.
Yeah, he thought Joyce DeWitt was not very thrilled with it, but he thought I didn't like her because she was the answer I messed up on to not make it onto the show Remote Control. Name Janet from Three's Company. I was just like, blank. I got every question right but that one. I used to know who the bass player from the Escape Club was. What can I tell you? I loved Larry was awesome. I used to know all that stuff. I can't. Anyway,
we'll be starting a Three's Company series next week, guys. I'm kidding.
They're a little concerned about the interspace situation. They've got a one shot in a million, and then we see this cool shot of Kirk. It's very 2001. They're thinking of this when they made 2001 because it's the same time. There's almost zero overlap between this show and 2001. Although It may have been in theaters. I don't know how they would have had any anticipation of it. Was it a Paramount movie?
No,
I
69. It wasn't 2001 and 69.
68. I believe it's in 68. There's a little bit of Star Trek after that.
Yeah, because they would have filmed this episode 6 months before the air date, though. So it
not necessarily. We found out with Star Trek they're only about 3 episodes, like 2 or 3 episodes ahead. We found out, especially with this show.
Oh, really? Okay.
It
would have been written anyway. It would have been written a long time before that, though.
Get this, with the menagerie, the only reason they chop the cage into 2 episodes and make the menagerie is because by the time they get up to like episode 8 or whatever it is, they have fallen so far behind their own production schedule. They need that to break into 2 episodes while they make 1 to buy time. And it was a good, enjoyable episode menagerie. They're part of it too, but it was a low effort shoot. You know what I mean? The story was good, but it was a low effort shoot. It was a lot of people at a table
Totally cool.
having a conversation. It was totally cool. It was what they needed to do to buy time. We get Balance of Terror like a week later and Doomsday Machine 2 weeks after that. So they were building up to something. They had to do it, but they had felt like they're trying to do like Balance of Terror and Doomsday Machine and stuff like that. And they're just like, we're so far behind. We can't deliver a show. And they're like, I have an idea. We'll take the old demo. We'll cut it up. We'll cut out the problematic parts, as many as we can. It's like, we still have Smiling Spock in there. It's like, yeah, you know what? He was high that day or something. Well, people won't notice, it's 1966. I'm sure this show will be gone in a few years and we'll move on to something else and it won't matter. It's not like we're going to be making movies about this in 30 years.
Yeah. But you know what? It just goes to show what you can do when you're under pressure. The creative juices come out. We don't have much time. We don't have much money. How do we do a bottle episode with no special effects other than the shuttle? The shuttle was flying through that was the one new shot in that episode of the menagerie.
And they might have even reused that for like Galileo 7. They're like,
they may have just, it was probably recycled. It was probably recycled. No new sets. Nothing.
They're out of production order. They're like, we have that leftover we have that like pre-made shuttle B-roll. What can we do with it? Like, we could go from a starbase to a ship. Like, how do we put this story together? DC, make me a story, or whoever did it. Gene L. Kuhn.
It was so well done because how much lore did we get from that episode? We got tons of lore and great character development with Spock and his loyalty. He showed his loyal side.
I'll take a risk here for a couple of seconds. I want you guys to hear the strange transporters. It's so cool. It doesn't sound that way any other time except in the cage. It's the cage transporter sound. It's a whole minute long and it's just grindy and loud and fucked up. It's Pike's transporter, is my guess.
I like that they do that, though. It makes sense because it would be a different type of transport, or maybe there's something weird going on.
Totally pained and it's being fucked up by the interphasic stuff, and plus the Enterprise, all of its fine-tuned instruments are thrown out of whack because it was in a battle. It got hit while it was trying to do something scientific as well, so it was extra exposed. So we have everything fairly well explained in this episode, and Kirk, they have to give him triox compound right away. We remembered that from Amok Time to get the oxygen up in his blood. I like the way the helmet flips off the gear of the spacesuit. For all the cheesiness, there is like a logic to it. And you know what? If you look at it, it has that upper mantle very much. If you cut the lowermost part of it, I'll use the cursor here, as you can see. If you trimmed it right there, you've got the Enterprise version spacesuits. You have the upper spacesuit from Enterprise, very well reflected in this one. It's slightly different designed, and it's based on the Mercury sort of spacesuit, but you can see a little bit like the Enterprise people looked at this like, okay, it's not all going to be gold sparkly, but we do like the football player sort of gear on top. We're going to keep that. We're keeping that. That shit's cool. And we'll put some like those hoses. They give us an idea. Like, If one of those got compromised, that could lead to some interesting plot developments. Let's put those on the helmets. We could use them one day. Maybe T'Pol will become a space crackhead. Maybe it'll come into play like that. But great acting by William Shatner as he played. You know, the captain is always really slow to pass out. And really, here's Bones. He's like, well, I tried to convince Spock to give up on you so that I could get off the ship and be transferred back to Earth where I could go to Studio 54 and go out dancing every night. But damn it, they saved your life. And I'll pretend to be happy about it because this doesn't track with his, like, let him die through the whole episode thing. And again, here we have our special edition Enterprise doing stuff our original Enterprise just couldn't. It's in the spirit of the show. Yes, it's changed. It's increased my immersion. I like that there's both. What I say is, I am glad that we have the original. I am glad there's both. And when I have my preference, I watch these. I'm sorry. I think they were very faithful. Yeah, and
because you know what the other thing is, we get to
models.
We get to appreciate Matt Jeffrey's design more with these shots because they're angles and things that we didn't get to see. We get to see the underside of the Enterprise flying by us. We get to see the windows. You can see all the details and all the work he put in. Yeah, and all the work they put into designing that ship and building it. We didn't get to see it so. I'm happy for these. I like that we get to see a little Aztec paneling on there. It's fine.
And as JT can tell you, gold deflector dish, as we all now know.
Yeah.
And you know what? That brings us to the end of our episode. We just watched the Star Trek episode, The Tholian Web, in preparation for our Mirror arc, which will end with Mirror Darkly from Enterprise, as we explore the entire mechanism. So this is 1/3 of their mirror contrivance that gets them to the mirror universe. So we've just watched the first part and we're going to go around the horn and rate it. So sitting there very quietly, pretending not to be gay, is our friend Krimlon. Krimlon, you get to rate this one first. You're at bat first, Krimlon. Tell us what you thought about this episode of Star Trek and what makes it a good episode in your mind. Rate it from A to F, and our audience has a slightly different question this week. And by the way, hello to all the people over on Rumble. Vic Fontaine, if you're listening, we saw those rants you sent. Thank you. You are the man, sir. We don't check Rumble much. It's not really growing there, you know. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal there.
The big green machine
about it.
Yes.
But we did have a lot of you here tonight enjoying this with us, including Cam and Gavin and Mr. House Party and Rocco, friends one and all, for so long now. We've been on this journey for 4 years on YouTube. And we've been the Saturday Star Trek guys now for it'll be 2 years soon. It's not too soon to talk about it anymore. We would have preferred not to be the Star Trek guys on Saturday nights because we love the guy who did it, but it wasn't meant to be that way. And, you know, we will carry the banner of the United Federation of Planets forward, and we will see Star Trek restored. So say we all.
So say we all, as I stall to get to my...
So say we all.
So say we all.
There we go.
Peace.
Krimlon, we bought you some time. Give us your review and your thoughts A through F on the Tholian Web.
I'll give it a B. I think some of the negatives were more some of the visuals. The fact that you hid Nichelle Nichols behind some of those things kind of upset me. That is very degrading for a beautiful woman.
Krimlon standing up for women's rights here and also like making a strong statement that, you know, he loves Uhura just like the rest of us. Hey, you're a Star Trek fan, spoken like a true Star Trek fan. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I need you to stall for a couple minutes here.
Let's see here. It's definitely a Saturday night here.
What will Sean be up to? We don't.
Oh, nothing nefarious.
I'm very curious now.
We're bringing this in under 325 for a change. Watch Mark Beeman. And we'll just end up going for 5 hours again. But we'll see if we can bring this under 3.5 hours for a change. But go ahead, come on, continue your thoughts. Did you like the device of the mirror universe and sorry, the device of the Tholians and stuff like that? That now we know they jacked that ship. Something weird didn't just happen to it. In this episode, all we know is something weird happened to the ship, and now it's gone.
I'm getting communications on the side here. I'm getting yelled at for giving it a B by our pal Radioactive. Hey, I can't help it. There are certain things that drove me insane. You can't hide a beautiful woman behind all of the dudes there.
Standing up for seeing more Nichelle Nichols is absolutely a valuable assessment of the show. The more we see
that's an immediate letter grade droppage right there. You can't do that.
I think the deal was hidden Nichelle Nichols or no Nichelle Nichols. It wasn't on them. They didn't want to do it. And remember, they were looking at her like hardcore all day. They're like, yeah, we're you want a raise? Just it keeps the set happy. When you're here, we'll just give you a raise so you stay at the show, Nichelle.
I don't think I'd ever seen the remastered version of this, so I really did like the quality of what it looked like.
Isn't it great? It's like a whole new adventure and a whole new way of seeing it, honestly.
Yeah, I was quite enjoying it. That's why I was quiet watching it. I'm having to look to see if I can find some copies for myself.
For the fun of it, if you want to watch one right away for 99 cents, you can rent them on YouTube and just get them in standard definition. You don't need them in HD. The effects aren't scaled up that high anyway. The effects are only in like 780, and it's not 780 as we know it. It's the 780 of 2007.
Oh, so 7, yeah. Okay, so 780i or 720i.
Is it 720? It's been so long since I had a TV that scanned at that level that I forgot. I really don't care. It doesn't. I really don't care to you. But so you give it a B. You have to. That's totally fine about the hiding of Nichelle Nichols, but downgrading the whole episode is a bridge too far. I have to go with.
It upset me
with Radioactive on this one. It upset you.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. It's a feeling thing. What did you think about as far as the Enterprise component of this? It occurs to me, and I pose this one to Sean too. It occurs to me that in the original context of this episode, when we saw it, like we went somewhere, the ship was fucked up, ship went away, we got Captain back, bad guys showed up and shot at us and left. Now we know that it was an elaborate scheme. There was some time travel involved. They collapsed a star. They created the interphasic space, which explains why they didn't have as big of a problem with it. They also they know exactly when to mess with the Enterprise because they're like, we have the reasons for the Enterprise episode here. Like, for instance, their tech levels below the Federation. They can't take it on one-on-one. They got to get another ship, and they don't even try to fight it directly. They try to spin a web around it to drain its energy, or they'll lose. We see the Enterprise push it around, and that's what the improved effect does. Instead of just seeing a flash of light on the screen, we get the effect of the of the original writers, and enough of them were still around to advise on it. It's like, no, it shoves it out of the way.
I think that gives them a little bit more detail to the storyline.
I agree. This is Crimlon. I forgot to tell you this part. We're critics. You have to be like really verbose. You're supposed to have at least 3 or 4 sentences on any detail.
Let's see here,
Mr. Crimlon, your agonizer, please.
So let's see. There was not enough drinking in it.
There you go.
There definitely wasn't enough drinking.
They don't have to be legitimate criticism. Just keep them coming. Come on, you just don't leave me hanging here. It's like we got rid of one guy because it was like, so what did you think of the episode? It's like, it was good. I give it an A. Anything stand out? No. It's like, do you have a favorite part? No, not really. What about Kirk's dialogue? Was there a part that stood out? No, all pretty even. Just real iconic line. 12 of them.
Hey,
everyone, nothing. Really.
There's not enough alcohol tonight.
We drank nerve gas. That was good enough.
Yeah, definitely.
So Krimlon gives it a B. He's taking the Krimlon did not like some of the episode, like covering up Nichelle Nichols.
That's
is
what
the
really
Russian
upset
judge
me
tonight.
That's
All
what
right.
really upset me. You hit a beautiful woman behind dudes.
Did you throw a paper towel roll across the room in anger like JT does during every Star Trek review? Did you take your anger out in the paper towels like he did, sir? Is that what happened? All right.
Yes.
So Krimlon gives it a B. Anything else to say? Do you have an iconic favorite line or an iconic favorite moment or effect? Anything you want to remark on before we move on?
No, nothing I can think of other than that they upset me by hiding a pretty woman.
And that you love the upscaling.
I love the upscaling. I liked how they remastered the quality of the ships.
There was this guy called Pop Culture Curator. He didn't like me very much. He called me an asshole and a piece of shit. And he didn't have many good things to say about me. But you know what? I still tried to help him on his way out. And may he rest in peace. But when I told him that I enjoyed that both existed, he said that I was a piece of shit and an asshole who didn't know what the fuck I was talking about and was a disgrace to Star Trek and no Star Trek fan.
Well, I mean, piece of shit and asshole.
He was largely accurate.
That's fairly accurate. Yeah.
Charming man's critic. Yeah, charming guy.
He sounds brilliant. He hit the nail on the head.
Building a statue to him. You know what? You're bucking. Are you bucking for a transfer to the other show where you can replace him? All right, Sean, you're up at bat. Your turn to make fun of Admiral Teag, cut me down to size, and talk about the episode Tholian Web. First of all, talk about it the way you saw it and the way you see it now with the Enterprise component, because we may have taken for granted this context we have.
Oh, look, it's Dad Man.
Yeah. Before I do it, Dad Man is saying hi. Hi, Dad Man.
Dad Man in the house. You listen to me, you football banana bastard, you.
I think Radioactive's very upset with me.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I ran this through my little spreadsheet. That's what I needed a minute for, because I wanted to see how I, looking at all these different things, how I rank it. Now, overall, in all the categories I have, and I won't go too deep into it, but I end up giving it a 73. But that doesn't reflect my enjoyment level of it. So that's just the critique of me when I find out what the best episodes of Star Trek are for me. I give it a B overall out of just pure enjoyment. I really do enjoy the episode, but there are a few things about it. McCoy's being inconsistent. They forced the conflict between him and Spock a little too much. I understand that they had to you needed that tension in the story. It didn't come out as good as it should have, except for at the end when they watch Kirk's message to them and they reconcile for the most part. And I like how he and Spock team up at the end and lie to Kirk and go, we didn't have the time to watch what message? What are you talking about? I like that they
still played with almost season 2 level. It wasn't quite up to season 2, but that was the closest they got to.
It was pretty good.
We have the Holy Trinity on the bridge. It's you all benefited from my message, which you didn't see.
Yeah. I did like that. It kind of bonds Spock and McCoy a little bit. They have it was a good moment. Very enjoyable episode. I love it. I've watched it 100 times. I will continue to watch it 100 more, as long as I have enough time on the planet to do it. And it's great. It's really a good science fiction story with imagining, certain cool sciencey aspects of it. It's not so much science fiction because we're not giving any challenging things to think about here. It's just a fun, adventurous, the clock's ticking episode, which is fine. You don't have to have deep intellectual thought on every episode. Sometimes they could just be fun, and this was. And as for your leading into In a Mirror Darkly, I love it. Absolutely love it. I want to go and watch In a Mirror Darkly now. Like right
it's
away.
added a lot of context that we take for granted until you really point it out. Like, for instance, like the Tholians showing up, like we show that they're at a tech disadvantage. It would make a lot of sense for them to pull this plan. Maybe they have some explosives. Maybe they have like a scientific advantage, but they don't have like a theoretical scientific advantage where it's like, we are ruthless enough to blow up a star like Dr. Soran did, but we're cooler than him. And we're a bunch of freaky ass bug men, just like the Zindi have. And whenever we have freaky ass bug
they don't
men,
launch
I fucking love that in Star Trek.
And they don't launch a 4-foot rocket that hits the sun in 30 seconds from the surface.
I just love.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. The light
that was
speed.
So stupid.
That the one always threw me off.
It was a very cold sun, and the planet was extremely close. Like baseballs had been hit into that sun a couple of times. Once a year, Chuck Norris would visit that planet and throw a lucky child into the sun on his birthday. Just
appease the gods.
Yeah. Anyway, let me just take a look at what our audience thinks. The audience got to take a poll tonight. And when I say that, I don't mean in an uncomfortable manner. Welcome all of you here. Take the poll. Try the veal.
Teag takes things, those things in an uncomfortable manner. So don't worry.
Now Kremlon starts talking. Kremlon, thank you. Guys, we had the audience take a poll tonight. And it was, do you believe there are other dimensions / multiverse? Because there's really no other way to put it. I mean, the multiverse is not what they describe scientifically. You know what? Star Trek analysis is not a science class. I mean, I hate to, paraphrase J.J. Abrams, but we do acknowledge the science of it. We don't go super hard, geeky, tangential, hard science. There's whole channels for that, right? Like we do Star Trek science, and I can't believe that we don't actually use EPS conduits in real life, but like Sean broke it to me gently. And so we have, do you believe there are other dimensions or a multiverse, religious afterlife, and heaven doesn't count? That's your own thing. So yes, there are other dimensions. 77% of the 43 people who voted went with that. Wow. No, it's just sci-fi, 12%. So almost no one. And then 12% were nice enough to like to stream and see the results. I'm sure many of you like to stream and see the results. 43 votes. It ends in 3, 2, 1. Vote now or forever hold your peace. Pause. All right. The vote has ended. And we weren't going to sway it anyway, but we ended with a total of 43 votes. 76% believe that there are other dimensions. That's pretty cool. We left like stuff like heaven out of it because it's a sci-fi show, religious beliefs when they come up didn't seem to lend itself to that one. But Sean, what did you vote for?
I voted for there are other dimensions.
Odds favor that Kremlon did too. Kremlon, what did you vote?
Yes.
Well, when you ask that question, do you mean other dimensions where there's people walking around type of a thing, or like
beyond
hidden
sight and sound and size, width, and imagination?
Because like
a dimension of sound, dimension of imagination.
Yeah, I mean, like if you ever read anything about string theory, that it's already been postulated. But I have a feeling your question is kind of like a dimension like we're seeing in Star Trek, where there's like another,
right,
3 dimensions in that other dimension for people to walk around.
Non overly scientific, sci-fi-ish kind of like. Do you believe it? Or, that could take that one as far as, do you believe that you have an opposite? Like, is there somewhere where there's a black guy with black hair and dark eyes named Carter Sean?
Could be.
I mean, we know there's a black guy named Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Scary thought.
Well known.
No, the rapper, Jay-Z.
Yes, that's his real name.
Same spelling too. When my phone was listed, I used to get calls all the time, people thinking they were calling him.
You know what?
Do I sound like him?
Could you? Yeah. You could thank God that it wasn't like Puffy Combs or something like that. Like there's so many worse people that it could have been. It's like out of all the rappers in the world, you got the guy who's like, all right. So like people talk about him a lot and trash him for being rich, but at least he's like a prince among rappers. Like it's like nice enough guy. All right. So let me give my rating here. The audience believes that there are other dimensions. I also tend to believe that, both in a scientific and maybe even a sci-fi-ish, occultish kind of way, beyond our religious afterlives, which I think are exempt from this and should be. All right, so we watched the episode. We watched the episode Tholian Web, and my take on this one was it was a great episode, very fun. It's what we watched Star Trek for, but it didn't have time to go through the Star Trekitizer as many times as it should. It had some lacking dialogue. It was missing a couple of lines here and there. The conflict with Bones and Spock was something we'd seen before, and it was a little too forced and a little too intense. Spock is doing the right thing. Bones gives up really, really early, and just gives up on Kirk in a way that's disheartening. So I thought the whole thing was sort of a good story, but it didn't make it to great episode. So contextual to the original series. So it's an A for almost any other series. Contextual to the original series. This is a B plus, A minus. I can't really make up my mind. That's my score on this one, because we have a lot of great stuff. We could have used a few more beautiful women. There weren't as many beautiful women as I like to have in an episode of Star Trek, but we had a few. We had a lot of our main beautiful woman, Uhura. So that made up for like not having a lot of different ones. But this one was a solid A minus, B plus. And I think that I look forward to next week with the TOS mirror, the very first mirror. Should be interesting. And I think we should all dress in our TOS mirror universe version of our Starfleet uniforms. So Sean, you got anything going on your channel this week?
Yeah, I just posted, finally got a couple videos up, thanks to you, Kremlin. You inspired me to get my ass back and make a video. So I posted this chapter 2 of the Voyager. I've got a bunch more content, so I'll have another. I've got enough for like two more before I actually have to go and work on it again. but I'm hoping to finish it. I'm going to try to work on it tomorrow if I can get my taxes done.
Oh, yes.
Not looking forward to that.
No,
we're gonna owe a lot this year.
So much money.
You
don't have them withhold, or you just ended up. You don't have any. You don't do any withholding.
No, I'll tell you after the show what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? The thing that shocked me, and the only reason I would even ask you on air was, it stunned me because like you're one of the smarter people I know, and like I would figure like shrewd management would be like one of your things. So.
Oh no!
If you weren't doing that, I'd be like, well, why am I holding the money back either? If Sean can pull that one off.
No, it's not unexpected. I'll tell you. But
no problems.
No, but yeah, that's it. I forget what movie we're doing on Wednesday on PCB, but it should be fun.
All right,
we did LA Confidential last week. I'd never seen that movie. It was really good.
I was so confused when I saw that movie. I was on something called psilocybin, and I went to a movie theater, and there were only 2 movies playing, and I thought that they were both point of view movies. I thought that Us Marshals was just a point of view about being a marshal, and that like the whole thing was like first person filmed, like Hardcore Henry, and I didn't want to see that. It's like, that sounds like a drag, and they're like, what's the other? And I'm like, what's the other movie? And I look over and I see Le Confidential. And I'm like, a foreign movie? And I'm like, I'm so tripping on psilocybin, and I'm in the middle of Brooklyn. It's like, I don't want to stand around Brooklyn looking at the movie marquee for too long. It's Flatbush Avenue. I don't want to die here. You know what? I'm going to buy my ticket to Le Confidential. It's got Kim Basinger, whoever that may be. No, it has Kim Basinger. What is she doing in this French movie? And I went inside, and I'm looking like as the movie starts, it's like, what's his name? Guy Pierce, like Guy Pierce. I'm like, oh, great. Le Confidential with Guy Pierce. Like, should be great. What? I didn't know Kim Basinger could speak French. She could barely speak English, and she has terrible taste in dudes because she's not with me. And you know what? Like, she's the kind of chick who would marry the guy who could accidentally kill somebody. He was so dumb. But at any rate, yeah, when I went to the theater, I thought that Le Confidential and Us Marshals were not U.S. Marshals and L.A. Confidential, because I was so banging high. But like, what we're talking like 1997, so it's like savage young Admiral Teag, and you saw the picture. I don't know how to take it. You barely recognized young Admiral Teag. I thought it looked almost exactly the same. Anyway, I'll be back on Thursday this week, because I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, where it starts with reporting to work at 4:30 a.m. on Monday. So that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that one. The way I'm looking forward to it being also over, and maybe I'll be able to sleep at work a little bit that day. But I hope everyone had a good week. Thanks everybody for stopping by for the Star Trek. Next week, Mirror, the first ever Star Trek Mirror episode. We have 298 messages. You guys can't get it up to 300. How many likes did this stream have? Did this stream make it to 30 likes? If we didn't make it to 30 likes, you know what? The show will go on until morale improves. You know what? 26 likes. Sirs, madams, sirs, dig down deep and try to get it up to 30 if you're coming through later.
Nice. Not thrilling.
Sirs, madams, nice. Please get it up.
Yeah, sirs and madams, some Viagra on the like count for me when you get a chance to it. I love you all. Sean doesn't know what movie he's watching. I suggest that you watch 24-Hour Party People, about the EDM and drug scene of the early 90s. With about the Happy Mondays. It stars Andy Serkis from Lord of the Rings as the singer of the Happy Mondays, and Ecstasy Addict.
He's a nice guy too.
Is he? RRTNZ just met him, and he said he has great enthusiasm for the Gollum movie. Gollum movie has a shot, whereas the other Lord of the Rings movie, the one being made by Sauron Colbert, the Bombadil movie, only Ralph Bakshi and Peter Jackson decided that was unfilmable, crazy, and book-only stuff. But this dude has to go do it. But do me a favor, okay? On this channel, I also do video essays. I made one, and I beg for your help and indulgence in getting this video essay to the world. It is a great video essay. It is the greatest video essay ever created in the history of Star Wars, period. It is absolutely a video about the mall show. So check out Teag's mall video. Okay. It's pretty good. It is video essay level, and it preserves the live quality that you guys seem to value more than anything else. There it is for you. Do me a favor. At least feed it some likes. Check it out. We love you. We love you all. We'll see you on Thursday for my show. And if I don't get to do a show on Tuesday, it'll be Thursday and Friday. I'll be on in the afternoon before Doomcock. And before I leave, I guess I want to wish, Antiderivative Jill the best of luck in her appeal for what happened. This happened on stream for Tony's member stream, but for people who don't know, I offered to raid that stream after ours to help them, any way I could. And just so everyone knows, Scotty absolutely refused, out of hand. I didn't even get to finish saying it. He cut me off to tell me that he absolutely did not want any help of any kind. So I still wish Jill and Scotty luck, but they don't want anything from us. And maybe we now know part of the problem showing up at our time all the time, every time may have contributed. Who knows? But That offer was made and refused out of hand. So, good luck. And there will be an appeal in June. And, best of luck to you. I really do not have any ill will. I'm sure Sean and Cremon join me in wishing them luck.
Absolutely.
All right. Sean, do you have any video you want to play before we go out here? You were crafting something nefarious.
Oh no, I was doing the my little spreadsheet to figure out what I felt about the episode. But I will have a different sound to play after Sydney tonight.
All right, I can't wait to hear it.
Well,
we're gonna hang
not different. It's different for the end of the show. It's not something you haven't heard.
It always helps. Well, good night from your authentic Star Trek headquarters. It's your buddy, Admiral Teag. And here's Sydney Sweeney before we say goodbye for reals.
Today's episode of Saving Star Trek has been brought to you by the letter F.
Can I finish?
Steve is better.
Sir, honestly, the dogs are better.
Sir, I have the man. Sir, my name is Raisin. $1 billion, sir. $1.1 billion, sir.
Sir, he has a cold. Don't shake his head.
Sir.
Good night, sirs and madams. We